All right, we should be good to go. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Let's get that audio fixed. I don't think I'm blowing out the mic, so here we are. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Good morning. Afternoon, wherever you might be. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Make sure to share the live so we can get more people in here so we can get started. And then we should be good to go. We have our first guest. Tiffany. Tiffany, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
Howdy. That doesn't sound like a Tiffany to me, but who am I to judge? Tiffany, do you believe in God?
Yeah, what are your qualifications to be debating right now on TikTok?
What are my qualifications to be debating? I don't think that there are any credentials or qualifications that you need to be on TikTok debating. But look, Tiffany, do you believe in God?
Have you got anything? Sorry?
Do you believe in God, Tiffany?
Yeah, of course I do. It's a
Okay.
no-brainer.
Okay, well, look, I don't. So why should I believe in the God that you believe in?
Sorry? Why should I believe in a what, sorry?
Why should I believe in the God that you believe in?
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's many reasons why you should believe in a God.
Okay, like what?
Well, there's many. I mean, do you want to go through the historical facts, or do you just want to go by the...
Whatever you think is going to be the most compelling to somebody who's generally science-minded, who appreciates, kind of deductive reasoning, or perhaps appreciates formalizations of thinking. Whatever you think would be most convincing to me. Let's start with that.
Okay, I'm going to give you the best evidence, like undeniable evidence.
Let's hear it.
So you're an atheist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. This should be easy. So, do you? I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then we'll get the ball rolling. Then, do you believe the Earth is flat or round?
The spherical shape.
Yeah, okay, you're wrong.
Oh.
Now, I believe in the Christian Bible, so I believe the world is flat, and I can give you evidence.
Okay.
Because think about this. Why does every pilot say the Earth is flat?
I don't think they do. But
They
I also
do.
think that
They
this is
say
like
they
an
don't-
undeniable troll, by the way.
Don't worry, we're going to be here for a couple hours talking.
Pretty sure he's a troll. And in fact, I think I've spoken with Tiffany before. Let's talk to Ezekiel.
Oh.
Ezekiel, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Ezekiel, do you believe in God?
I do, yes.
Well, look, I don't. I'm an atheist. That's what atheist means. So why should I believe in the God that you believe in?
I would say you first off, just without religion aside, just a higher intelligence or higher power. I believe that you should believe in God because I believe you cannot get to the point in existence without some sort of a higher intelligence or higher power guiding everything.
Can you explain what you mean by that? I don't know what you mean by you can't get to the point in existence.
Like I believe that existence, like this reality and existence, wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be a thing without a higher power, higher intelligence.
Okay, why should I believe that?
I think you should believe that due to the understanding of, I guess, the logic of how the world came about and how existence came about.
Can you elaborate on that?
How it can only how it could only come about through a higher power.
Can you elaborate on that? Like, it doesn't seem obvious to me that that's the case. So I'd love to hear how you came to that conclusion.
Yeah. So there's no such thing as true randomness. At least from my point of view, there's no such thing as true randomness in existence. Like, everything has a cause and effect to some sort of a degree.
Well, apparently that's contentious. That's contentious. I mean, it depends on who you ask. Like, some physicists will definitely say, yeah, there is true randomness.
I just don't see any cases of that. Like, I believe everything has a cause and effect.
Like quantum mechanical stuff.
But even Yeah, but even quantum mechanics and anything in that realm that we don't really understand, by logic, there's no such thing as like you can't have random. Everything has a cause. Everything has an effect.
But that's
That
the
would just
thing
make
that's
no
in
sense.
contention, right? I mean, like, if you take quantum mechanics seriously, which every physicist does, and if you take certain interpretations of quantum mechanics seriously, which the majority of physicists do, then the outcome is that when you make an observation or a measurement of some sort of quantum mechanical system, the outcome is genuinely random, as in there's no way to predict exactly which outcome it would be based off of prior information.
Well, yes, prior information, but even with human knowledge aside, just in the logical sense, we like you're saying that you can't come to the sense of like everything has a cause and effect, even down to the quantum. Even if we don't understand it, even if it's completely random in our eyes and our thinking and our thought, that logical law or basis wouldn't be true in every sense. Like
How do you
there
figure?
could be stuff that's like I'm just asking, like there could definitely be stuff that's completely random, no cause, no effect, no order, no nothing at all.
Why not?
I don't know, because I just don't like logically. I think it's illogical. I don't see anything.
I mean, I get that it's unintuitive, but like I don't think there's anything illogical about it.
Really, interesting. Because I don't know. The more that I think about it, like I guess the whole point of like why even bring up the randomness and doesn't make like even that I'm trying to reason with it is that if something is complete random, for an example, like I know a lot of people believe that something had to have always been, whether that thing is obviously God or the universe without any intelligent design behind it. Something had to have always been, and even with that specific even with that specific saying, something had to have always been. Would you agree with that, at least for a baseline?
In some sense.
Okay.
I'm not sure that something must have existed. Okay, let me rephrase. So I think that there's a sense in which you can say that there was. Okay, what I would agree to is that there was never nothing.
Never nothing. What would you like? Okay, do you think that it would be illogical in your framework to believe that there was nothing? Absolutely, in the philosophy sense, zero, nothing.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I think that that's probably impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think that that's like illogical and impossible?
I'm not sure if it's illogical, but it seems like it's impossible for perhaps like metaphysical reasons, whatever those might be.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we can come to at least some sort of a middle ground in the sense of like, we do believe that something had to have always been. Again, that doesn't have to be a god. That doesn't have to be in our framework, but just there had to have always been something. Now that could be literally anything. But we can agree on that, at least for the baseline.
Yeah. So how do we get to, how do we go from that to a god?
Well, I would think for my definition, because I also want to hear your definition of God, because a lot of people have, it's certainly surprising how many people have different definitions of God. And I can say mine too, but I kind of want to hear like what's yours, I guess, definition of God?
Yeah, I just mean some sort of supernatural entity. Maybe it's a being with a mind, we might say, as in not natural, not like based in like material stuff. A being with a mind that is in some way responsible for, say, creating or grounding or being foundational to the universe.
That's actually not a bad definition. I've heard some pretty bad ones. That's actually pretty good.
I'm glad you think so.
I do. I think that's actually a really good definition. Yeah. Would you say that outside of like the natural, like, would you say that this God would have to be outside of physicalness, I guess, like that materialness?
Yeah, I mean, if it's responsible for the physicalness, for the materialness, then it certainly can't be part of it.
Then I want to ask, like, how would this God, if he's not material in the sense of like we can't see him, do you think that there's any other way to communicate, either by our senses, our physical senses, or by some sort of in tune? You know how like religious people say prayer.
Yeah, so I would
like
think no.
Yeah.
I would think that no, there's no way to communicate, which is one of the problems, right? That's
right.
Like, how is a thing that is non-physical supposed to interact with the physical?
Yeah,
Or vice versa.
and that's my question too. Yeah, and that's definitely my question too. In the main point of like, religious people like myself, we would say prayer, right? And then you could ask like, what even is that? But I would say for like the majority of, or for at least for the sake of argument, that this being would have to be definitely not material.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, we
If it exists, it definitely can't be material. I agree.
Okay, yeah, because I've heard some people say that like God, he would be material, but then you could definitely say that no, it definitely wouldn't.
So why should I think that this thing exists?
Because I think logically, if you follow, I guess, a ladder of logic, there would have to be some sort of a. This would obviously be the cause, charge, and creation of everything, and that would turn into the understanding that we would need some sort of order to create the universe, and order cannot come out of absolute chaos. So therefore, you would have to have some sort of a lawgiver or order given.
Why couldn't it just be that the universe is the thing that's quote unquote always existed?
I don't know. How come up with these laws if it's not like intelligent or it doesn't think for itself? Or maybe it's just.
What do you mean come up? So look, if the universe has always existed, then there was never a time where the universe wasn't this way. The universe didn't have these laws of physics, say. And so there's no need to explain how these laws of physics got here, because they were always here. It's kind of... Oh, where'd he go? I think he was getting in his car anyway, so we'll probably... We'll let him escape. We'll bring up our next guest, Cosmic... Actually, we have a guest on Discord. Let's bring up Frederick. Frederick, give me 1 sec, and you also need to unmute yourself. Yeah, okay, I should be good. You need to unmute yourself, though. Frederick, you're on the show. Frederick. All right, Frederick, feel free to come back later. Sorry, I just got a WhatsApp message. That message was not for me. All right, let's bring up our next guest. Let's talk to Cosmic Humility. Cosmic Humility, how's it going?
Perfectly. Hello.
Glad to hear it. Cosmic Humility, do you believe in a god?
My faith is somehow called potentialism.
What?
Potentialism.
Potent theism?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like that. If you think like Plato's idea world, those ideas are full of potential, you know?
Okay.
Like if you have a specific type of car, the idea of car, you can always remanufacture the car even though it disappears, right?
I don't know what you just said.
Like if you have a car and you will destroy all the cars, remove them. You could always remake the cars when you have the idea of it.
Okay.
Right? Right. So, in the beginning, there were nothing and maybe something, or only nothing. And somehow, this nothingness started to vibrate. And yeah, this nothingness started to vibrate.
How did nothing start to vibrate? Why should I think that there is any nothing at all?
I'm just, if you just listen to me, this nothingness started to vibrate, and this created matter. I actually believe that there is no matter. Matter is not real. Materialism is toxic. Everything
Okay.
is.
Sorry, I can't. Like, there's A, too much of a language barrier, and B, it seemed like we were not getting anywhere. I'm gonna bring up 100. 100, how's it going?
What was popping? My English is not that good.
Sorry, what? Your microphone is very quiet.
Like the guy before me. My English is not good.
You also sound young, so I'm gonna let you go. But good luck. Let's talk to Sutnam.
Hello?
Sutnam, how's it going?
Yeah. So I was going back to that guy when he was talking about the randomness of the universe.
Hold on, Sutnam.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, glad to hear it. Do you believe in a god?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I don't. So your job here is to try to convince me. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So I was going back to the guy earlier when he was talking about how there was, random. Sorry, I don't like hearing my voice. Anyhow, why do I hear my voice?
Probably because you have the TikTok open, or like, I don't know. You're not echoing on my end.
Okay. Anyhow, so what it is that we say that what happened before the Big Bang. So something caused that. And when we say random chaosness caused it, or something that was already there, right? Because it has no order, it has no direction. Like if
Why would we think that?
Because the Big Bang got caused, it was a hot dense state.
Suppose it was caused, sure. Okay, so then why should I think that it was like chaos before, or chaos that caused it?
So you believe it was always there?
No, I'm just asking, why should I believe that it was chaos that caused it?
Why was it? Well, okay, no. What I'm trying to say is any other explanation except a god would need a really deeper explanation that we probably can't get to. So it's better just to put a god there, like a god.
How is that better? Just because an explanation might be complicated doesn't mean that you get to just make up an explanation.
It's a causally efficacious thing. It's an entity that's causally efficacious and can order things into existence at its will.
Why would I think that anything was ordered into existence by a will?
Well, the Big Bang, we don't know what caused it, so maybe.
Okay, you're right. Perhaps we don't. That doesn't mean that therefore there was a being that ordered it into existence by its will. It doesn't follow.
Okay, so all right, like we get to quantum mechanics too, right? Like, because I was doing my research on this, and they say that ChatGPT told me that it was probably something quantum mechanics or something like that. We even get to there, right? We don't understand quantum mechanics at that level. Speak for
yourself.
Huh?
Speak for yourself.
What does that mean?
It means you don't understand quantum mechanics well enough. It doesn't mean that we don't.
All right, so you can understand quantum mechanics good enough that you know what caused it could have caused the Big Bang. I can give
you plenty of plausible explanations.
Okay, please give me one. Enlighten me.
So there's an idea called loop quantum cosmology. This is a quantum mechanical theory of gravity, and one of the consequences of loop quantum cosmology is that there is a maximum energy density that can form gravitationally, and so this leads to the idea that prior to the Big Bang, the universe was collapsing. It was collapsing eternally until it reached this. Can you turn off your alarm? So one of the ideas that we get to from loop quantum cosmology is that the universe, you might call it a Janus universe. The idea is that the universe may have been collapsing eternally into the past, and then it reached at some point in the past, it reached this critical maximum density, this gravitationally allowed maximum density, and as a result of the loop quantum cosmology interactions of essentially the behavior of space-time at the quantum level, it bounced off, and then it expanded off of it again, which led to our Big Bang. That is one plausible explanation.
That's okay. So, I like how many explanations you have that are plausible for this, for what cause?
I have a book full of them.
Like, can you give me a number?
25.
25.
In this
And
book.
you're saying that's better than a god.
I'm saying that they at least provide some sort of mechanism, which is handy because it's actually an explanation rather than just God did it. Don't ask us how, but God did it.
I'm saying because you're saying it has some order to it, right? That's why.
What? No, this doesn't have anything to do with order. This is just a mechanism.
By mechanism, what do you mean? Like it's a concept, right? It's a defined it's a concept.
So a mechanism is like a description or a, well, yeah, you could call it a description, perhaps a conceptual description of the series of steps where each event or each step logically or reasonably leads to the next one in the sequence until you have whatever outcome that you want. So like if we're talking about like a watch mechanism, what we would say is that, well, you have a circular spring and that circular spring is wound up so it has some sort of stored potential energy. And when you let it go, it starts to expand a little bit. And by expanding, it twists. And by twisting, that twisting motion is carried by another, or by a, what's it called? Like a shaft into another gear. And that gear then pushes up against another gear. So when the first gear spins, it causes the second gear. Like that's what a mechanism is. It's like a causal, or it's a causal or sequential chain of explanation that gets you from the starting point to the ending point.
So let's assume that, right? Okay, so first of all, I've seen a lot of things about you. Like they say, you're wrong. In some explanations, you've been wrong, right?
Who's they?
Like it's a TikTok on TikTok. They say this guy's wrong. This guy's like proving himself wrong.
Okay.
Flat Earth. You can search it up on TikTok. It's called Flat Earth. Dr. Blitz debunked, something like that.
Oh.
And you got debunked in that, yeah.
Yeah. So hold on. Let's look it up. If you want to do this, we can do this.
Yeah.
Are you a flat earther, by the way?
No.
Okay. Would you do you think that flat earthers are good sources of information? Okay, so I typed in. Oh hey, that's me. Flat Earth Dr. Blitz debunked. And actually, it's just my videos. These are all videos by me. Oh, here's one that's not by me, right here. But this one is by somebody who thinks the Earth is a globe, and they're just saying, oh, they're commenting on how some other guy is cringe. Those videos are mine, those videos are mine, those videos are mine. So it seems like I'm actually not finding these videos of me getting debunked by flat earthers. I suspect that flat earthers have never debunked me.
If you can friend me, I can send it to you.
You can send it to me regardless. But like, do you think that flat earthers are like a good source of information?
Flat earthers, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, you told me to look up Flat Earth Dr. Blitz debunked. So this would mean that it is flat earthers who would be debunking me. Do you think that they're a good source of information?
Probably not.
Okay, so why would I care what if a flat earther thinks he debunked me?
Yeah, I see what you mean, right? But like, he's talking about physics, some kind of mechanism going on. You were wrong in it, and you proved yourself wrong.
Okay.
I can send you the video.
I can assure you that no flat earther knows physics better than I do. But and if, by the way, if you think that a flat earther knows physics better than I do, then you should consider that no flat earther has ever taken a university level physics course.
Okay.
Where I have taught university level physics courses. So what's likely happening is that you're either seeing, and I don't know what video you're referring to, but you're either seeing dishonest editing or you are being lied to about what the actual physics are. That would be my guess.
Okay. All right. That's your guess, but if you can friend me, I can send it to you. But...
You can send it to me even if I haven't friended you. I have my DMs open.
How?
I have my DMs open.
Yeah, but I sent you a message before, but it says I have to
I see no messages sent by a person named Sutnam. No results. So
Right?
I have no idea what you said. When you minimize the app, I can't hear you.
Oh, I said, okay, so you know physics like 99.999% more than other people.
More than flat earthers, certainly. That percentage is probably lower for regular people. It's probably like 99%. But more than flat earthers, yeah.
Okay. So you're a really smart guy.
I have a PhD in physics. I've taught physics at a university level. It's my field of expertise. Of course I know it better than flat earthers do.
Okay, so what about quantum mechanics?
I know quantum mechanics better than flat earthers do.
I mean, I'm just talking about general. You know?
I know quantum mechanics well. I got A's in all of my quantum mechanics courses.
Okay. All right, so did you go to Harvard?
No, I didn't go to Harvard. So why should I think that a god exists?
Wait, I sent you message. If you
Message requests 0.
Okay. Can you tap on my name and like try to see like?
I'm currently on on the computer, but I can go see if I can find you.
Yeah, my username is. Hold on. I'll find
Yep,
it.
there are no messages. You have sent me nothing.
I can do that. Hold on. Can I can't even paste an image. All right. Well, okay. So you're saying you have 25 different ways, and because
Yep.
they're mechanical, right? Like because each thing is better at explaining itself is better than a god.
Yeah,
And
because
so
the
why
God
would-
explanation doesn't actually explain anything. It just says God did it, but there's no explanation of like how that worked.
Well, he was constantly efficacious, so he willed the universe at his
What does
as
it
a will.
mean to will the universe? Like what is that? How does that actually go from? How does it go from God just has a desire, has a will for something, and then the universe exists? What's the process?
Well, God wanted to create the universe, so he said he decided in his mind that he wanted to create it, and so he created it with his will. Like with
Okay,
his
so
choice.
what was the process of creation? How did that work?
Well, he encoded everything that like he was so super intelligent, so he encoded everything that was gonna be in the universe that he wanted it to be. So
Where did he encode it?
In the Big Bang, all the constants, everything, right?
No,
we
but
say
like
all
where?
the-
Because like the constants don't exist like in nature. You can't go out and like find a constant. You like make measurements of like events that take place, and then you compute constants. But like where did he put the constants?
He put it in the process of creating the universe.
Okay, and how did he do that? How did he put it there? Like did he like get a pencil and write it down, or like what happened?
Well, he's really intelligent, right? So he put it when it was in the hot dense state. He probably put it in there. So
How?
the
What does it
universe
mean
wanted-
for God to put it in there? Like what does that mean?
Well, God. Well, actually, well,
Like what is he just a guy and he just like poured in constants, or like did he have a bucket full of constants and he poured them in, or like what's going on?
No. When the Big Bang banged, right? He had control of the bang. So while it was banging, he could control the how it formed, right?
Okay, but how did he control this?
With his powers.
That tells me nothing.
Why?
If I asked you, okay, have you ever read a comic book?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you know how in a comic book, like in the Fantastic Four comics, are you familiar with Fantastic Four?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so like in the Fantastic Four comics, you have these heroes. One of the guys is really stretchy. One of the guys turned into rocks. Another, the woman is able to become invisible, and one of the other guys can like create fire, right? Now, if they started the comics with just there are these 4 people with these superpowers, and they can just do this stuff, that would be really dissatisfying for nerds who want to know how it works. Which is why, in the comic books, they explained how they got these powers and what it did to them molecularly. And they at least came up with some kind of story that explains how they go from being normal people to being superheroes, right? It's called an origin story. This is a fairly common thing in comic books. But what you're offering me is you're just saying, oh, well, I don't need to give you an explanation. They just have powers. And that's like, that doesn't explain anything, right?
Well, I mean, because God is a brute fact, right? So
God is a
he
brute
doesn't need
fact?
yeah, he doesn't need an explanation. You know,
You believe in brute
he just
facts?
cares. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Why can't the universe just be a brute fact?
Because it needed to be caused by something else.
Why?
The Big Bang. The Big Bang needed to be caused by something else.
Why?
You're saying so the Big Bang was brute? You believe that?
Well, I don't believe that, but it sounds like that's at least compatible with your view.
That's compatible, but I mean, obviously, I think that had a cause. Therefore,
Why does it? Wait, why? Obviously, that had a cause. Why couldn't it just be a brute fact?
Well, it's really weird. Like you have something that's really infinite, dense, and small, right? What was it? The size of a pea, right? A pea.
Well, the observable universe was, yeah. It's not clear how big the universe entirely is, but
okay. So I mean, that is a sign of powerfulness, like.
Or it could just be a brute fact.
Well, it could. Yeah, you're right. It could.
So why should I believe in why should I believe in like a powerful being that, you know, just has powers when I could just believe in the universe existing as a brute fact?
Ah, yes. Okay. So, I mean, you're regarding the universe as the tiny state, right?
Sure.
Okay. Well, because it's a really small. Well, that is a good objective, but you know, like because it was a really small point, right? And what caused it to expand? We still don't know what.
No, it could just be a brute fact that it was like a small state that expanded.
Oh, is it because I'm saying God has powers and it had a power enough to expand? Is that why you're saying it?
No, what you're saying is, you know, God is just a brute fact, and so, you know, it's just a brute fact that God can do these things. So I could just say it's just a brute fact that the Big Bang banged.
The Big Bang bang. Okay, because that's relating to power, right? But
well, I don't know what you mean by power, but yeah, perhaps.
Because it could stretch itself because it's a brute. It doesn't need any other. So, do you believe time started at the Big Bang, or was it before the Big Bang?
No, I'm actually pretty agnostic about the nature and origins of time.
Oh, okay. So you don't have a view on what time infinity existed, or if it existed. Okay. Well, I mean, I believe that like everything is bound by time because of I've seen
God.
a lot of. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so even though he's bounded by time, he could still create the universe as well.
But it sounds like if he's bounded by time, then he's not all powerful.
Why is he not all powerful if he's bounded by time?
Well, like, could God go back in time?
Well, yeah, he could.
Then he's not bounded by time.
Wait, what?
If he could go, if he can move through time willy-nilly, then it doesn't sound like he's bounded by time.
Well, he is bounded though.
What do you mean by bounded then?
I mean, time travel is possible, right? You can go from past to future.
Yeah, but I don't think that you can go from future to past.
God can do that because he's powerful.
But then it just doesn't sound like he's bounded.
If he can go, okay, you're saying if he can go from the past to the future, okay, he can only do the only things that are logical. Only the logically possible things he can do.
Yeah. So like, it's logically possible that he could go into the past. I just don't think it's like physically possible. And like, time is a physical thing. Keep that in mind.
Okay, so is that an objection against the immaterial thing?
I mean, sort of. If you're making the claim that God is like some immaterial thing, but then is somehow bounded by time, that's a little bit confusing.
Okay, all right. So okay, so he's bounded by time. Okay, so he's immaterial. So is it because everything that's in time must be physical. Is that what you're trying to say?
At least it seems that way. I mean, like, time seems to be the kind of thing. Time and space are quite closely related. And surely you would say that if something is in space, it would be material. So it seems just as plausible to say that if something is in time, it's material.
Okay, so let's say it's a material, right? It's
Well, then God
It's
can't be
like-
responsible for the universe if God is material.
why?
Because if God is material and the universe is all of the material stuff, how could... What you're saying is that a proper part of the universe is responsible for the universe as a whole. I.e., a thing within the universe is responsible for creating the universe.
That's a contradiction.
Well, it's not a logical contradiction. It is perhaps you might call it a causal impossibility.
So you can't be in something and cause something. Or why
You
is
can't
that?
be within the thing that you cause. Because otherwise, what were you in before you caused it?
Wait, can I write it? I want to write down the note. Notes. Hello?
Welcome back.
Yeah, is it you're trying to say that God couldn't have created, if God was material, he would be he couldn't have created the Big Bang? Because everything was
He couldn't have
inside
created
it?
the universe.
Well, the Big Bang
Whatever
was
the
it.
universe might be.
Why?
Because
'Cause
if God is in the universe, I take the universe to be all of those material things. If
No,
God
I'm
is
talking
in...
about hot dense state. Hot dense state, right?
Oh, well, if you're just talking about God as like, could be like just like an alien that like caused the hot dense state, then like, maybe he caused like a local hot dense state and caused like our particular part of the observable universe to expand. Like maybe, but then we're just not talking about God being the thing that caused the entirety of material reality.
Oh, I see what you mean. So if we say that, okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay. So if God caused this, then if God caused everything material, he wouldn't be God then if he was material,
Yeah,
himself?
I think that's probably true.
And he couldn't be immaterial. But you understand that space is just a dimension, right?
Yeah.
But wait. I'm sorry, because I'm forgetting that this is the Big Bang, right? So Big Bang can get really mysterious and like, because I don't want to even think about that. That's too complicated of a concept, right? But the universe of the P, right? Everything was in that universe. You're saying it couldn't have been outside it because it would be outside of time, therefore?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Look, so the observable universe could have been small, where the rest of the universe was still quite large. So God could have been like in the rest of the observable universe and somehow caused the observable universe to get small, hot, and dense. And so the observable universe banged, but God is still hanging out. He's just like a guy, like an alien, hanging out in the part of the universe that's not observable. It's too far away. That could be the case, but then he's just like a guy.
A guy?
Yeah, he's not a god. He's just like a dude.
How is he a dude?
He's just like an alien dude. If he's just
Well-
like a person who just like exists in the universe
Oh,
and like just did
more like a
some
superhero
science
movie.
stuff. Yeah, he's like a Superman. He did some science stuff and made the hot dense state of our observable universe. Like that's just not really a good description of a god in my view.
Okay, so what's you have an objection against a formless god then?
An objection against a formless god? You mean like the kind of god that exists outside of space and time?
No, not that one. Because I know that's a fallacy, but I'm talking about a formless god.
I don't know
Well,
what you mean by a formless god. Does it exist within
has-
the universe?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's I don't care whether it has a form or not, it's still a thing that exists within the universe and you still have the same issue.
That what? What is the issue?
The issue is that a thing cannot create the thing that it's always been within. It's like this is like saying a thing can create itself.
Thing can create itself.
Yeah. The universe can't create itself. And so you run into the same issue.
So God can't create something formless? What?
No. Okay. Ugh, Sutnam.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. You know, because usually when I talk to atheists, they have notes, so it's easier for me to understand. But
I have my own notes. I just am not using them because I don't need them. What's the issue? Do you mean like that I don't have like a text up behind me? Look, so surely you understand that a thing cannot create itself, right?
well, it could, yes.
You think a thing can create it? Wait. Can anything create itself?
Can anything create itself? Atoms create itself, right?
No.
Is that a logical fallacy?
It's a physical impossibility. Plausibly a metaphysical impossibility too, depending on your modal scope for metaphysics.
But we're talking about a formless thing causing the universe.
Yeah, but it's within the universe.
Okay. So if something is already in the universe, it can't cause the universe? Because the universe
because it's within the universe. Where is it before it causes it?
Where was it before it caused? It was in the universe, so it didn't.
If it was in the universe, then that means that it didn't create the universe.
Right. Okay. So when we talk about the hot dense state, we're saying, what if God was outside the hot dense state and caused it?
I've addressed that too. Like you could imagine that the God is like a being that is like within physical reality, but outside of our observable universe. And then it caused our observable universe to be the way it is, but it's still in physical reality. So there are two distinct notions here. There's the universe, which is all of the physical stuff, and then there's the observable universe, which is like our local patch, or the little part of the universe that we're in. And so God could have caused the observable universe to be in a hot dense state, but then God still didn't cause the whole universe, just the observable universe to be a certain way.
Okay. Wow, you're really smart. It's because you're saying if God, okay. So that's a really good objection. I think I'm an atheist now.
Let's go. Right. We got another. All right, I'm gonna let him go. I can't think that he was serious, right? Like that. There's no way. Right. From Trevor with the $5. I don't care if one is atheist, as long as you respect in other people's beliefs, and same with religious people with agnostic atheists. Okay. Well, thanks, Trevor. Thanks for the $5. I appreciate it. From Pensive with the $40. Very generous of you. Thank you so much, Pensive, as always. My super chat didn't go through yesterday, so here's a double dose of support from the heart of Texas. Well, thank you from the spleen of Arizona. From Game Master Flash with the $5. Caller's logic is sound. I sometimes put things inside during the Big Bang. And from Scribble Scrabble with the 10 Canuck bucks. Next time someone asks you how the universe started, can you answer by saying the lyrics to Big Bang Theory song? Word for word, straight face, without laughing. We can probably arrange that. All right, let's talk to one. One, how's it going?
Good day. It goes. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing all right. One, do you believe in God?
Yes and no. Not in the
that's confusing.
Supernatural version that everybody believes in.
So you believe in a natural God?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it...
One is talking and one is listening, right?
Is it governed by the laws of physics?
All physical matter is governed by laws of physics.
So the God that you believe in is physical matter?
Part of it, yes.
Okay, I just don't think that that's what I mean by God, so I'm gonna let you go, One. Thanks for being here. All right, let's bring up Strick. Strick, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Blitz? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Do you believe in a god, Strick?
I do, but I also wanna ask you, what do you define a god to be?
Some sort of metaphysical or perhaps supernatural entity with a mind, with agency, with a will, these kinds of things that is responsible for creating or grounding or being the foundation for the universe. And by the universe, I just mean all of physical reality.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. By supernatural, do you mean like not physical?
I mean not natural.
Not natural.
Yeah, I mean like we generally think of like there's like the natural world, which is governed by natural laws, and so a supernatural thing would not be.
Okay, so would I don't want to jump into or get the label put on me immediately, but would supernatural also be or be including like extraterrestrial?
No.
Okay, so that would still be physical to you.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
just like,
and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so what I'm saying is, I believe that a lot of the different religions and everything, everybody has their own story and their own book that they follow. And some of them even match up, which I give to each their own.
So
their
do you
respect
believe in a
and
god?
everything. I do believe in what would be considered in the word a god.
So like the god that
created
the definition that I offered, do you believe in that thing?
Supernatural
And or metaphysical being with agency, with will, with a mind that is responsible for creating, being the foundation for, or otherwise grounding the universe.
Yes.
Okay. Why should I believe in that being?
It would be a being. Okay, so I want to prelude by saying that everybody's religion, as long as everybody, and shout out to Trevor, one of your super chats or your donations, whatever it was, he basically has my same belief where I definitely believe as long as you're good to each other, believe whatever the fuck you want.
That's
just
cool.
Don't impose. Just don't
Why
impose
should I believe
the
god that you believe in is real? I appreciate that you're like respectful. Why should I believe this?
Yeah.
Like you think it's true. Why should I think it's true?
It's the one that I believe makes the most sense through all of our discovery, through all of our research and everything that we've done. We all try to amount it to books and stories that have been tossed down through the phone game. And everything's been mixed and twisted, but some stories still hold up.
So you say that it makes the most sense. Which, in what respect does it make the most sense? When we talk about different ideas of things, and we say that one makes the most sense, that's usually like, oh, it's the simplest thing, and it explains all of these facts about the world, and we can describe it in a straightforward what about it makes the most sense? Like, what is the specifics? What are the details? Why should I think it makes the most sense?
Oh, I can't go through all of the research. I mean,
give me an example.
I've scrolled so many from all of the research that's been done on, basically from everything from the God, I can't even I'm sorry, I'm blanking out, but I like to research, and I like to watch all of the videos on all of the historic facts, where basically at the end of the day, it's basically saying that we were possibly created by an extraterrestrial species.
Okay.
Or
suppose
maybe
that's
it was
true.
before.
Why would that mean that there's a god?
That's what I wanted to get your definition on, is what.
So I gave you the definition. You said that you believe in the thing the definition that I gave you. So extraterrestrials are not that.
Right, but that would.
So why should I believe in a god? not extraterrestrials. I can believe in extraterrestrials. Fine. Why should I believe in a God?
Right. That's what I think has been misinterpreted over time, is our interpretation through all of the books, all of the religions.
I don't care about the history. I don't care about the interpretation.
Okay.
You said that you have a certain belief. You have a belief in a kind of thing that I described that we call a God. It's not an extraterrestrial, it's not physical, it's not natural, it is supernatural, it is metaphysical, it is responsible for creating the universe. It has a mind, has all these properties. Why should I believe in that thing? The whole story about extraterrestrials is completely irrelevant.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you're, if I'm explaining myself correctly, but I'm saying the term, the noun God, has been misrepresented over time.
I don't care. I gave you the definition that I'm working with. And you agreed that you think that thing, based off of the definition that I gave you.
Off, bro.
I know you're not trying to. I know you're a chill guy, but you're just like avoiding and or misinterpreting what I'm saying every single time. I gave you a working definition that we're working with. I don't care what other people misinterpreted it as. I gave you a definition, and you said that you agreed that that there exists a thing that matches that definition.
Okay, can you repeat that definition? Because maybe I
is a supernatural / metaphysical being with a mind, with agency, with a will, that is responsible for creating, grounding, or being the foundation for the entire physical reality. You said that that given that definition, you believe that a God exists.
Do you believe that metaphysical, can that not be extraterrestrial?
No. Metaphysical means above the physical.
Oh, okay. So
beyond the physical, perhaps.
I mean, there have been, some of these different stories, and like I said, I'm going off of, a lot of people's stories and their witness letters and everything, their experiences, that they have witnessed these things that are not physical, that are almost made out of light and everything
light
like
is
that.
Physical.
So then yeah, I guess it would not be metaphysical. So in your interpretation of the word and how the word has been passed down in all of the different religions, the different books, and everything, I would definitely say that, I've already considered myself an atheist, and I've explained that to everybody, but I don't
tell
care.
Me that you believe in God?
I do believe in a God.
Then you're not an atheist.
I believe there is something. The way that I describe God is, or based on how it's always been described in the Bible, the books, the Quran, everything, it's always considered to be something that, like you said, is metaphysical. But I think that, like I said, from the phone game, it's been twisted into something that is, super holy and, can do anything, or I forget which, the term that you used earlier with Sutnam. I can't remember because I started busting out laughing when I heard bang on banging. But it was, forget what it was.
Look, so if you don't believe in a metaphysical or supernatural being that is like beyond the universe and is responsible for creating the universe, then we have no meaningful disagreement.
Right. The only thing, that's why I wanted to say at the beginning, was what do you, other than the actual definition, how has the term God been described or defined to you? Before you had to look up the Webster's dictionary.
Wait, hold on. Did you say other than the definition, how has it been defined?
Yeah, through just your life experiences.
I'm just giving you the definition that I use.
Right. Okay. If that's the definition that you use, then that's fine. It's
that's
just
like
for me,
what's typically understood by the word. Words have meanings. That's what's typically understood.
Right. I understand, but through over time, maybe way way back, whether it's 25,000 BC, they see something super crazy up in the sky. They don't have a meaning for it. They just think that there must be God. Somebody eventually had to either make up a story or witness something that, or have a conversation with someone that made them develop this term in language called God. And
Yep, and ideas change over time, and now the idea refers to something specific. Look,
Right,
it doesn't
exactly.
sound like that we disagree about anything substantially, so I'm gonna let you go. I can only do that for so long.
Do not come. Do not come.
If that's your view, going forward, people in the guest box.
Do not come.
Okay. From Empiricist with the $2, is Zeus not a god in this view? Didn't make reality. Yeah, I mean, like Zeus. You could say that Zeus is like, yeah, basically, yeah. You could say that Zeus is like a divine being, perhaps. From Techaman with the $2, yeah, man, I love holding in bong rip research. Good bit. From Dark Matter Bacon with the 5 Canuck bucks, true scientific deism means God only lives in the furthest gaps of our knowledge. Every historical religious description is totally wrong. Well, look, you might think that's true, but then we still have the same issue of does this being exist or not, right? And that's the question that we need to talk about. All right, let's bring up Paleo Debates. Paleo Debates. Paleo Debates, you coming up? Paleo Debates. Paleo Debates. Seems like you're not seems like he's not here, so let's move on to the next guest. Let's talk to Ryan Taylor. Ryan Taylor, how's it going?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Ryan, how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Glad to hear it. Ryan, do you believe in a god?
So I got a couple of questions.
Just really quick, do you believe in a god?
Moving forward, I'm gonna grab a piece of paper.
Before you start, do you believe in a god?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. And by a god, you mean like some sort of...
Yes, I believe in a
You
god.
don't just mean like an alien, right?
No.
Okay,
Like
cool.
An actual
okay.
god, creator,
Sure.
all.
Sure, okay, cool.
things.
So why should I?
Why should you believe me?
Well, I believe that you believe in a god. Why should I believe in the god too, though?
Couple of. Why should you believe in the God that I believe in?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty interesting topic, actually. I don't have a really good answer for the reason why you should believe in the God that I believe in, but I
Well,
kind
I
of
can
want to pick your
rephrase.
brain about a couple of different things.
So I can rephrase. So I just want to believe if something's true, I would love to have the information so that I could believe it. And so presumably, I imagine that you also like to believe true things. So if you have some reason for thinking that the God that you believe in is real and true, then if you could offer me those reasons, that would be helpful.
Okay. So basically, the being that I believe in is in control of multiple different dimensions. He's responsible for multiple things that actually have a physical hold within this reality. And let me just say, what's it called? I do have schizophrenia, quote unquote.
Hi.
So,
Let me say hi, Dad.
hold on, buddy. So I do have, what's it called? A couple of different things that, that I can perceive that a lot of other people can't perceive due to my condition. First off, basically, whenever people go to sleep and they have dreams, I believe that everybody is supposed to act exactly as they would act in person in their dreams. And being able to act as the exact same person in your dreams, you're supposed to be able to act the exact same way. Let's say if you were taking psychedelics, in response to controlling multiple different dimensions. So I believe that not only does this God have a hold in the psychedelic realm, he also has a hold in the dream realm. He also has a hold in the physical realm. Get through being one part of yourself being whole within all of these physical realms that we reside in.
So, Ryan, this is not the conversation that I'm looking for, and I mean, you told me that you have schizophrenia, so I'm not comfortable having that conversation. But good luck. Your kids sound cute. From Profoac with the $2, do you believe Jesus as a man existed? Yeah, probably. That seems plausible. Let's bring up Matt Theorem. Is this Matt Davids?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that was funny.
All right, if you're Matt Davids, I'm gonna let you go.
No. Who is that?
All right, let's bring up Stefan. Stefan from Discord, how's it going?
What's up?
Not a whole lot. Stefan, do you believe in a god?
Yes.
Okay.
But hand on my heart, maybe.
Wait, yes, but maybe?
It's definitely maybe.
Okay,
But
why
hear
should
me
I
out
believe in the
here.
god then?
What if God is deaf?
What if God is deaf?
Yes, he's kinda.
Well, that's just not
created
what
us
I
so
mean
he
by
can
the word
feed
God.
us.
So,
Well,
look, I believe that
is
death
just feeding of
exists,
himself.
or I believe that death is an event. Like, I don't think
He
that
created
that's
us
what God is.
so he can feed on himself.
Do you mean like death personified?
Yes, he created us so he can feed on
Okay.
us and everything that dies. He's kinda a snake that eats himself.
Okay, Stefan. Thanks for being here. What is it with callers today? We have a few more super chats from Mr. Pacho. W for how you handled that earlier call. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I've spoken with a few other people who have like self-admitted that they have some mental illness or another, and it's just, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. From Dr. Fudge with the $10, kicking him was the kind thing to do, I think. I don't know his situation, but I know if my mom, same diagnosis, called in, I'd want you to kick her too. Yeah, like, it just seems like it could be punching down. It seems like I'm not here to, like, I don't want to validate somebody's like, if somebody genuinely has schizophrenia, I don't want to tell them that that what they're seeing are real, but I also don't want to like make them feel bad. So like, I'm gonna leave that to like a licensed person to handle that conversation. Let's talk to Waving Cat. Waving Cat, how's it going?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. Waving Cat, do you believe in a god?
No. I used
No.
to.
But then, why'd you come on?
I've watched your debates several times, and I like the way you speak. You seem to know.
I do appreciate that, but it does say, can you convince me to believe in your god? But you're an atheist, so the answer is going to be no.
Right on.
All right, take care.
Cheers.
Talk to Nestlenut. Nestlenut? Nestlenut. Nope, let's talk to... I think I've talked to Apple User. Let's talk to Shamo. Actually, I think Apple User is probably just a generic name, but it's fine. Shamo, how's it going? Shamo?
Yep.
How's it going?
Yeah, hi. So...
Do you believe in a god, Shamo?
Kind of, yeah. But
kind of?
Am I supposed to believe in your own definition because I saw you define in your own way? Or
Yeah, so if you don't
allowed?
think that the kind of thing that I described exists, then we're probably just going to be talking past each other.
No, it's not that, but like I just believe in a creator.
Okay. Is the creator physical or metaphysical?
I'm actually not sure what do you mean by that.
Well, if it's a physical thing, then it can't be the kind of thing that created all physical things.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that the creator created all physical things?
Yeah, I do believe
Okay,
that.
so then it can't be physical, it has to be metaphysical.
Yeah, right.
Above the physical. Okay, does it have a mind?
Not necessarily the kind of mind that we have, but
I didn't say that. I just mean, does it have a will? Does it have agency? Does it have knowledge?
Yeah, I think it has knowledge. It has to have, the things that are required for him to create or her, or like, I'm just defining the God right now. I'm not defining their gender or anything. So him or her, they have to have some kind of things or some kind of, in English we call them adjectives, or what do you call it?
Sure, that's
like
fine.
specifications for them to be able to create. So only those specifications that are required to create and nothing else.
It sounds like that exactly fits my definition I offered, actually.
All right. Yeah, so
why should I believe in that thing?
Because I believe that there is nothing else that can satisfy the way that the universe is, or the way that it has been created.
Can you elaborate on
metaphysically.
That? What do you mean by satisfy?
Yeah, so it's a bit similar to religious people, even though I'm an ex-Muslim, so I was a Muslim before, but I still believe in that kind of God that I described, because there is a starting point. So no matter where we go, there must be a starting point for the entire universe, so not just the observable universe, because often Muslims just think about.
Why must there be a starting point?
Because there wouldn't be, it doesn't physically make sense that the universe has always been there. It's eternal, so it cannot be eternal.
Why doesn't that make sense?
Eternal. Well, because
what's the problem?
would mean that we would have. It would mean that we must have maybe another universe, just like our own, before us. So it has been created
not necessarily.
Before us.
No, like you could just have like an eternal universe that, it was eternally collapsing in the past, and then it reached a middle point, and then it started to expand after that.
Yeah, but these are all
what's
possibilities.
The issue? Right. But you said it's impossible, didn't you?
Yeah, I said
what's
it's
the
impossible
issue?
to have. Like, the issue is because if you have an eternal universe, you would have to agree or accept the fact that there must be different universes, just like our own, or different ones.
How does it follow that just because the universe is eternal, there must be different universes?
Well, because it's statistically impossible to have zero, to have nothingness since the start of time. Or
I don't think that there was ever nothingness.
Okay, so there must be something.
Yeah, I agree.
Before us.
Why couldn't it be the universe?
No, I didn't say that. I said that there must be something else, so it must be a universe.
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
So it could just be that our universe has always existed, no?
No, I'm not saying that. I said that it's impossible. So the argument was this. So it is impossible to have an eternal universe which did not include or did not have any universes. Or you mean what I mean by a universe? It's the entire system, so not just our universe. So we have our universe, which is observable, right?
Look, when I refer to the universe, I'm referring to the whole physical system, not just the observable universe. Yeah, the observable universe is finite in size. The observable universe has a finite past. It's not clear that the whole universe has a finite past, but the whole universe had a beginning.
Yeah, so if it had a beginning, wouldn't it be a contradiction that only ours exists?
I don't follow. Look, my view is that the universe is much, much larger than the observable universe, but it's more or less the same. Once you go beyond the observable universe, it's just more universe. It's not really any different from the way that it is here. It's just elsewhere.
What makes you? Yeah, but it cannot be the same. What makes you believe?
It's not identical, but it's not identical. But it would have the same laws of physics. It would have the same general phenomena happening. You would still have stars forming. You'd still have galaxies forming, etc.
Yeah, but what I mean is that it cannot be the same in the way that there will be an identical kind of Earth like our own, for example.
I never made the claim that it would be identical.
Yeah, but when you say that, wait, what did you say? Did you say that the outside universe?
Yeah, it would be the same kind of thing. Rules? Yeah, it'd be the same kind of thing. So, you'd still have stars and you'd still have galaxies. They would just be further away than we can see.
Yeah, but I'm not following. Like, in what way does that respond to my earlier claim?
Well, I wasn't really responding it. I was more clarifying what I mean by the universe. So what I mean by the universe is the whole thing, not just the observable universe. And to me, it's just not clear. As well. It's just not clear why the whole thing couldn't be eternal.
Well, because it would be we would see it, like, if it was eternal and it had or wait, I said earlier that it cannot be eternal, right? And you're saying that it can be eternal. So now I'm gonna try and prove to you that.
I was just asking why it can't be eternal, why that's impossible. So go ahead if that's what you were about to do.
Yeah. So I'm saying that it cannot be eternal because if it was eternal, and now I'm using the the logic of contradiction. So I'm assuming that your point is correct. And now I think if it was eternal, then we would have to see at least something that is identical to us, or our universe at least. But so far we haven't seen anything like that. We haven't seen any other humans, we haven't seen any other Earths or Mars or any other planets just that are identical. So if you have something that is infinite, it is statistically impossible to have zero.
Oh, that's what you're saying. I see. Yeah. So, look. So, it's not true. It's not necessarily true that the universe is infinitely large, right? It could be that the universe is finite in size, but it is eternal into the past. So in that case, there is not an infinite amount of stuff at any one time. So it's just not statistically impossible that within the entirety of the universe right now, that there would only be one set of humans, right, on Earth. But if the universe is infinitely large, then you're right, assuming that the laws of nature are the same everywhere, then you would expect to find another copy of us somewhere. The thing is the odds of us finding another copy of us within our own observable universe, which is the range of places that we can see, is very, very small still, because the amount of stuff in the observable universe is not infinite. It's quite finite. So it doesn't seem like your first premise that if the universe was eternal, then we would have to see at least something that's identical to us or our observable universe. It just doesn't seem like that's true. It might be the case that at some point in the past, long before this iteration of humans existed, that there was another iteration of humans back in the eternal past. That might be the case, but we wouldn't expect to observe them because they're in the past before humans even existed. So it just seems like if the universe has an infinite past, it does not follow that we would expect to see something within our observable universe that is like us. It just seems like a non sequitur.
What you said, I'm not sure if I understood fully, but let's see if I understood. So what you're saying is that the universe can indeed be eternal, because, like the way I said it, it's not always true. So it's not always true that we might have or we must have a copy of us, because it's firstly, you said two things, I think. Firstly, it is impossible for us to see that copy because we just have the range of our observable universe. And then the second thing that you said, I think, is that these things, that even if they existed, even if they have happened before, we still cannot see them because they happened far beyond or far past.
Yeah.
What do you want? Wait, just a minute.
You're fine. I hope that's not a loved one.
Yeah, so did I say it correctly?
Yeah, that's roughly it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that no, firstly, even if we cannot observe the copy of us in this observable universe, we must at least see some kind of path of it, or how we call it in English, traces of this copy.
So to be clear, what if the universe is... So there's two options. One, the universe could just be finite in size, not in time, but in size and spatial extent, in which case it's possible that we are the only humans that exist in the universe right now.
Yeah, it is possible.
Right, so if that's the case, then that has nothing to do with whether or not the universe is past eternal. Secondly, if the universe is past eternal and there was so suppose for a moment, because it's possible, that the universe is finite in size, well then we wouldn't expect there to be any other humans within the universe today, like right now. But it could be that because the universe is past eternal, maybe it goes through cycles, and then maybe there was another set of humans 1 trillion years ago. But if there were a set of humans 1 trillion years ago, living on an Earth 1 trillion years ago, that wouldn't leave behind any evidence.
I think it would.
Why? Everything reset at the Big Bang. All of the evidence was wiped clean.
I didn't say that. So I think we have kind of mixed up some stuff, and I'm honestly not sure how you managed to do that. But like the beginning was not the Big Bang.
I'm not making the claim that the beginning was the Big Bang. I'm saying that the Big Bang was an event. If the universe is indeed past eternal, the Big Bang still happened. It was just an event. And in that case, the Big Bang would have erased all of the information from the past, with perhaps some exceptions like gravitational wave stuff, which people are actively looking for, but it would have erased, planets from existing. It would have erased stars from existing, etc. So we wouldn't have any of this, evidence of these humans left over.
So are you just saying that because the universe, or are you assuming that the universe is eternal? So
yeah,
it would mean that we wouldn't have anything?
What I'm saying is that if the universe is eternal, it does not therefore follow that we would have evidence of humans that lived 1 trillion years ago.
Why?
Because the Big Bang cleans up all of that evidence. The Big Bang is extraordinarily hot. It would vaporize any sort of evidence that might have been left behind.
But who told you that I claimed that this evidence must be inside our observable universe?
Well, if it's not inside the observable universe, then we can't see it. So then we wouldn't detect the evidence anyway.
So are you saying that everything that we have received so far from the space is within the bounds of the observable universe?
By definition, yes. By definition, yes.
Okay. So nothing
That's what the observable universe means.
So even radio waves or all of that.
Yep, there are no gravitational waves that you can observe from beyond the observable universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I understood better now. Thank you.
So why should I think that the universe was created?
Well, my argument was still that it cannot be eternal because we would have at least one copy, and then said that because it's observable, and we're talking only about the observable universe.
Well, that's all we can see.
I actually came up with another idea. What if, and because we are always trying to find other intelligence life, what if the other intelligence life, which is the copy of us, even though they are outside of our observable universe, they try to contact us and they could reach us?
How could they reach us if they're outside of the observable universe?
Well, why can't they? Because
light. So any sort of communication is limited by light speed. So you can't go faster than light. You can't send information faster than light. And if they're outside the observable universe, that means that the universe is expanding sufficiently quickly that the rate at which the distance between us and them is growing faster than the speed of light. So even if they tried to contact us, their signal would never get to us because the universe is expanding faster.
So now you're saying that the universe can indeed be eternal, and we would not
it at least seems possible. I'm not saying that it definitely is, but it at least seems possible.
Yeah, but you're saying like it's just as much possible as the universe having a beginning. So I cannot.
Yeah, I think so. I at least I don't know if it's just as possible, but I don't have any way to determine which one's more likely at this point.
Yeah, I understand your position. Yeah. So I kind of failed to prove to you that my position, which is the beginning of the universe is true, instead of other positions, or
But
other
does
arguments.
it? I mean, I'm not talking nonsense, right?
No.
Okay, so like, okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. Thank you. That was
okay.
all.
Thank you for being here, Shamo. Well, he was polite. I appreciate when people are like, "Yep, good point. We're done." That's always, it's genuine and it's appreciated. All right, let's bring up a guest from Discord. Let's talk to Abdullah. Abdullah, how's it going?
Hello.
Abdullah, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Is my voice clear?
Yeah, it's perfectly clear. There's a little bit of echo, but it's fine. So Abdullah, do you believe in a god?
Yes, I am Muslim.
Okay. And why should I believe in the God of Islam?
You don't believe in the concept of God itself, right?
Well, I believe that it's like a concept. I think that people like have a belief about this concept. I just don't think it's like a real thing in the world.
No, you think it's like another imaginary concept like Santa or any
something like
figure.
that.
Okay, so why you think that? How can?
Because the stories that I've been told, the stories that I've read in these ancient texts, they seem like the kinds of stories that people tell about Santa Claus.
Yes,
there's stories about miracles and stories about deliverance, and it's these sound like stories. They sound like the stories told by people thousands of years ago, and I just am not convinced that they're true.
Most historical facts are injected in myths, like the typical way of telling events in the past was like make it very mythical. Like
well, that's not really true. I mean, like there are plenty of like non-mythical like histories. For example, if you go look at Pliny the Elder's work, there are at least many chunks that are non-mythical at all, and it's just a description of the world. It's just a description of events.
Exactly.
But that's not mythical at all.
I mean, they tell the story about this old world, like they add more imaginative things that make more glorify wins or horrible losses.
Okay, so why should I believe these things?
No, I'm not telling you to believe these things. I am telling you that some facts somehow getting to the public and the future like distorted, like mythical. Like the fact is that a God that communicated with some prophet in the past.
Okay, so why should I believe in the God then?
God?
Yeah.
Why should you believe in the God, or why you should believe that there was an evidence that
why should I believe in the God?
In the past that a God that you just have to be in mid and decide which.
Why should I believe in the God? I've clarified already. Why should I believe in the God?
In the God or that human?
I've already clarified. Why should I believe in the God that you believe in?
Not my belief. I just step by step. Why we should believe in anyone telling that they communicate with the God?
You tell me. Why should I believe that?
Because if they give some kind of miracle, likes, right?
Yeah.
If
why should I believe that any miracles happened?
Not happened. It's like happening right now.
Okay. What miracle is happening right now?
There's not sorry, 4 minutes. I meant if the miracles happens in the history, you can't believe that because you didn't witness it. But a lot of people that witness the miracle, and they can tell and document that in history, right?
There are lots of stories of miracles. Yeah.
Yes, isn't that enough evidence
No.
that no, not for you, for the people who witnessed them.
Yes, if I witnessed a miracle, then I would probably be a believer. But I have not witnessed a miracle, so why should I believe that the miracles happened?
So, I'm sorry, we are Muslim, we believe that the Quran itself is a miracle.
Okay, what's miraculous about the Quran?
You can't make you can't extract false thing from it like
Sure
other
can.
books.
Sure it can. Was the moon ever split in two?
What?
Was the moon ever split in two? In half?
If it could.
Well, was it? Because if it was, then the Chinese astronomers at the time should have observed it and written it down, because they observed everything and wrote everything down. If that happened, that was weird in the sky.
Yes, I should not use that one of the interpretation of that specific chapter on the Quran.
This isn't it's just what the words say. The words just say that the moon was split in two, right? This isn't this isn't some loose interpretation. It's just what the words say.
No, it said اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. That in Arabic, most of the Quranic
I understand that it's in Arabic, but we're speaking in English because I don't speak Arabic. And if you take those Arabic words, you can translate them into English. And regardless of the translation, you will find that the translation is akin to the moon was cleft in twain, or it was split in two. These all mean the same thing.
Sometimes the Quran itself describes something that we know that it is about the event of the afterlife. And it is describing it in the past tense, like it did already happen. Some interpretation that you don't know about is that this chapter exactly says that the splitting of the moon is the definitive.
Is a thing that happened. This is not described as a thing that happened that will happen in the future or in the afterlife. Right, this was the goal of this was that some people were not believing, and so Muhammad, with the power of God, split the moon in two to convince the people to believe. This didn't happen in the afterlife. Is there a moon in the afterlife?
No. It's Yawm al-Qiyamah, not the afterlife. It is the day of judgment, not the afterlife itself. It's about.
So. Then why is it described as happening during Muhammad's lifetime?
All the other things are described that in Muhammad's lifetime about the day of judgment, like the.
So to be clear, was Muhammad alive during judgment, or will Muhammad be alive during judgment?
No, I'm not telling that.
So I've extracted a falsehood from the Quran, that it describes Muhammad, with the power of God, splitting the moon, or being present for the moon splitting, and yet he's dead. Which means that it couldn't have happened in the future at Judgment Day. Rather, it must have happened, if it happened at all, during Muhammad's lifetime. But it didn't happen, and hence we have a falsehood.
No, sorry, I'm just communicate this because my vocabulary in English is very narrow, that some information are missed between us. I'm saying, like, do you believe in? Okay. If it is about the things that you believe, if some messenger that proves that he is from a certain king, and he tell you that will be war after 2 years. That is the news, right?
I have no idea what you're saying.
I'm saying that if the messenger, a personal messenger, he proves to you that he is from a certain king, and that messenger tell you there will be a war in the certain date.
Okay.
Then that king, then the description of when the war will coming is the message itself, not the proof of the messenger is from a king. Like he describes that it will happen like in
seems
the
like it's
January
unrelated.
of. Yes, it's very. I just want to describe you that it is the splitting of moon have some
So
interpretation
look,
that
I'm just going to show you something. We can look at it together, I guess. Oh, you can't see it. Okay, well, I'll read it. I'll read it for you, and then I'll show it to the people who are watching, so they can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just on Quran.com now. You might fight about the translations, but we can just look. So here's the relevant. It's 54:1, so it's in chapter 54, verse 1. So we can just go look at the tafsirs. This is about the hour has come near and the moon has split in two. So we can just go look at the tafsirs. And so if we go look at like the narration of Anas bin Malik, Imam Ahmad recorded that Anas bin Malik said, "The people of Makkah asked the Prophet for a miracle, and the moon was split in two parts in Makkah." Allah said, and then it goes on to blah blah blah. But this the point is that the people have asked the Prophet for a miracle, and then it happened. Like, they asked Muhammad for it, and then it happened. So this happened during Muhammad's lifetime. We have the narration of Jubair bin Mutim. Imam Ahmad recorded that Jubair bin Mutim said, "The moon was split into two pieces during the time of Allah's Prophet." So, like, this is not... At least the tafsirs seem to agree with me that this is not something that will happen in the future. This is something that allegedly happened in the past, during Muhammad's time.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
like,
firstly,
and
I
yet it
said
didn't,
that
so we can extract a falsehood from the Quran.
Before the falsehood, I said to you, one of the interpretation of that ayah is that it will happen in the future. Another, we can, you are saying to me, since there is no any other civilization that documented the splitting of the moon,
Then we have good reason to think that it didn't happen. Exactly.
Okay. So couldn't it be visually happening locally?
No.
In the Arabian visually?
No. That's not how light works.
We can make an images for the moon that split, right? Like it's splitting.
Well, wait a minute. Did the moon actually split, or is it just appearing to split? Because it doesn't say that it appeared to split. It said the moon split. The moon has been cleft asunder, right? Like this is not.
Yeah.
This is not. Oh, it just looked that way. This was just an illusion. It's just symbolic. Like no, that's just not what the tafsirs say. It's not what the verse says.
It doesn't. I didn't say that. Also, I said it is miracle enough for the local people that it is appear for all of the local area of the Arabic Peninsula to optically split it. Isn't that a miracle itself?
If the moon actually split, then it would have been observable everywhere where the moon was visible anyway. I don't everybody sees the same moon.
Yes, we all see the same moon, but we can make it an optical image for a splitting moon.
So then the moon didn't actually split? It just kind of looked like it did?
It could be. I don't know that.
That would be great if Jubair bin Mutim didn't say the moon was split into two pieces during the time of Allah's Prophet. A part of the moon was over one mountain and another part over another mountain. So this is not an optical thing. The actual parts of the moon were in different places.
Epistemologically, he will say that if he saw that.
Okay, so is it your contention that the moon didn't actually split in two then?
No, it's my you are right. Probably a weak argument, but everything is possible,
including that the Quran was describing an actual event that they thought happened, even though it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's possible that the Quran has a falsehood in it.
As the description of the you mean that okay. it is possible that the moon. Okay, you have good argument, really, but astaghfirullah. It is still can happen, and we. Okay. Yeah. Can you find other thing in the Quran?
Yeah.
That is clearly more definitively false.
Yeah, one sec. Let me make sure that I pull up the right thing. I think it's Surah 71.
By the way, I respect you as a person. I mean, I admire that the thing is you are a PhD. That is my goal in life, to have a PhD in chemical engineering. Physics is very, very good subject. Okay.
I'm glad that you think so. So, do you think that the story of a flood is described in the Quran?
Yes.
Okay. Well, a flood didn't happen. There was no global flood. There wasn't even a local flood, for that matter.
When?
At any time in written human history.
Are you saying that there is not enough water in the globe to submerge it all?
No, what I'm saying is merely that if there was a flood, then the Egyptians would have died, but they didn't.
So you are saying the Egyptians are simultaneously on the time of Noah?
Yep.
The Prophet Noah?
I mean, yeah, like.
Are there the same?
That's written history, right? Like the Egyptians have existed for almost the entirety of written history. So there couldn't really have been a flood during written human history.
That was exactly 5,000, right?
Well, the Egyptians have existed for longer than 5,000 years.
Yeah, we can. I'm not arguing about that. I'm arguing there is no claim in the Islamic literature that Noah was in that historic period. It can be way 100,000 of years ago.
Okay.
Could it be?
Okay, I mean, if that's the claim, I just don't know what the Islamic view of when the flood happened.
Yeah,
because I imagine that the Quran doesn't. The Quran is kind of vague about when the flood happened, I guess.
It doesn't specify anything about timing.
Yeah, and it doesn't give like a chronology or a list of ages or things like that, right? So like, yeah, so the flood. So what is the case is that certainly no floods have happened in written human history. No global floods, not even any particularly local floods, at least in the Near East, have occurred in written human history.
What do you?
Because if they did, then.
Okay. The periodic ice age of the humankind isn't enough to produce that amount of flood?
No, I'm just saying that if a flood did happen in during written human history in that region, then the Egyptians would have been wiped out, but they weren't. But furthermore, as far as a global flood is concerned, there's not really a way to make sense of how this would happen, right? There's only so much water that is on the surface of the earth, right? There's so much water in the atmosphere, and then there's lakes and oceans and ice. And if you combine all of that water, it's not enough to flood all of the land. And
I am with you. Okay,
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I'm
and so if you then say, okay, well, what about the flood underneath? What about the quote unquote water underneath the surface of the earth? Well, there's no mechanism except extreme volcanism that would allow for that water to come up and flood the earth. And if there was such extreme volcanism, then the earth would have boiled. There wouldn't have been a flood. It would have been boiling. So it seems like that we can't really get a global flood regardless.
No, I'm with you with this. But if we are certainly about the amount of the water in the earth was like this from the eternity.
Well, where did it go? Where did it go? If there was more in the past, where did it go?
isn't there enough cosmological events that strong enough to propel a lot of H2O from the globe without
You mean like an
destroying
asteroid
the
impact? I don't think that there are any asteroid impacts that could evaporate all of this water that is enough to cover all of the land without leaving behind a crater.
So
and by the way, in the event that such a thing happened, it would have killed Noah too. Like if an astronomical or if some sort of meteor or some sort of comet struck the Earth so hard that it got rid of all of this extra water that used to cover all of the land on the Earth, it would have vaporized every living thing.
We are not in the same timeline. It can happen that the flooding was an era, then happened an ice age that reduced the amount of liquid water in the continental area, and then
okay, so we're talking about a local flood.
Not local, global.
Oh, so a global flood. Okay, so the water was covering all of the land.
Yes, that is what the Quran said, yes.
Okay, so the water was covering all of the land, and then where did the water go?
Can we know for sure that that it wasn't there, and then cosmologically with an event get out from here without destroying the rest of the Earth?
No.
Can we know?
No, there is no such cosmological event that could vaporize or get rid of all of that water without destroying the Earth.
Okay, so I am with you in this point. Okay.
It's also just not true that the Earth was created in a few days, right?
And it is the Quran claim, firstly. Secondly, times shouldn't, we can't know for certainly that time was always going the same rate as now, right?
We can't know that time was always going at this time always for regardless of who's doing the observing, time always flows at 1 second per second. Like that's kind of trivially true. Now different people can have different relative amounts of time that pass. So for the amount of time between two events for one person might be, I don't know, a year, and it might be 10 years for another person depending on how they're moving and where they are. But regardless of who's expressing something, it will always be 1 second per second for each observer.
Okay, Professor. When we talk about a deity outside of this world, this type of logical thing can't apply with that, because the creation of Earth since our beginning of our conversation, can any deity outside of our physical realm stop the time, change
any deity outside of our physical realm stop time? Well, I mean, I don't think that such a thing exists, so I don't think so.
Okay. I know that this is the thing is we don't believe in this. You don't believe in this type of things. That all the cosmological being is just the physical one, right? That was what atheists believe in, right?
Yeah, that's roughly right.
You still believe that there is a other world, right? How can we be certain about anything when even we can't know anything above the third dimension?
What?
Is above there is 3 dimensions that we can navigate in,
well,
right?
It seems, yeah, we can move around in 3 dimensions. It seems like that's all of the dimensions that there are.
It's all of this theory about addition and dimension are flawed, right? Or you are saying what exactly?
Sorry, all of the dimension about what? All the stories about what?
All
about the flood?
No, not about the flood, about the dimensions. I always
What
use
stories?
I'm not on the stories. All the dimension on the theories, 11 dimension.
Oh yeah, sure. And we don't have any evidence that supports those.
So they are in physics. Why?
They're unsupported at this point. But look, I mean, like, we don't even have to look into physics to be able to talk about relativity. It seems like in the Quran itself, it seems like that it can't decide how many days it took to create the world. Right, in chapter 41, it talks about how the earth was created in 2 days, then the solid mountains were placed in 4 days, and then the heavens were created in 2 more days. And so that's 8 days, whereas in chapter 7, it talks about how the heavens and the earth were created in 6 days. So, like, which one was it? Was it 6 or 8?
You mean that you find a contradiction in the description
well,
of the
looks like
Quran?
one. It definitely looks like one.
Okay, I don't have a Quran with me, very near me, but okay, let's say that I doubt that there any contradiction in the description of itself. We can contradict each other with the physical reality, but not the description. The Quran
Why can't it contradict itself? I mean, like, look, so did God create the earth in 2 days?
If it did, how can we deny that or verify that?
So look, in chapter 41 it says God is created in, and I'll just show people so everybody knows I'm not lying. Chapter 41, it says that God created the earth in 2 days, right?
Exactly. Okay.
41 verse 9. And then the next verse, it says, he placed solid mountains on it, blessed it, measured out its various provisions for all who seek them, all in 4 days. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Then he turned to the sky, which was smoke. He said to it and the earth, come into being willingly or not, and they said, we come willingly, and in 2 days he formed 7 heavens and assigned an order to each. So it seems like we have 2, then 4, then 2. So that seems like it's 8.
8.
Whereas, if you go to chapter 7, verse 54, it says, your Lord is God who created the heavens and earth in 6 days. So it just seems like that there's at least some tension here. Something seems off.
If anything in this topic exactly, it could be the translation. Because I don't remember those ayah went like that. But if the description was consistent, how can we deny or how we falsify even the saying that the creation was like that or not?
Well, no, the point is that it doesn't seem consistent. It seems like that there's an inconsistency here.
Okay, but I don't have any mushaf with me near me, and I can't open anything with my device else than this conversation. But I'm very sure that there is no inconsistency. But we are not in the same page, I think. Okay. Anyway.
Look, there at least seems to be some tension here. I've given you now a few examples, so I'm going to let you go because you've been on for a while. But thank you for being here, Abdullah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Take care. It always sucks when there's also a language barrier, right? Because there was a language barrier there, even if it wasn't that bad. All right, let's read some super chats because I think that we're a bit behind on them. Or we're not because nobody's sent them. No, I'm kidding. From Quantum Tap with the $2 Australian, atheist equals agnostic. It's skepticism. Matt Dillahunty. Well, I mean, sure, I guess. If you want to be, like, you can use those words interchangeably in a certain sense. And we have $2 from a Barnabas with the thumbnail for this live has been 100% accurate. What is the thumbnail? I didn't set it. All right, let's bring up Dr. Marcus Zayn. Dr. Marcus Zayn. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, man? A lot of people have been tagging me because I know we're kind of in like the same science space. A lot of people tag me in your stuff. They want me to react to your stuff all the time, and I just, it sucks that this is how we're meeting for the first time.
I don't know if I've seen your name be tagged in my stuff, but it's possible. I just don't remember it. So, Marcus, do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and look, I don't. Why should I?
All right, so let me lay some groundwork before we're really just going to dive into this.
By the way, just before we get started, do you actually hold a doctorate?
Not the way you would think I do, no.
It seems like stolen valor. Anyway, go
on. So do you believe in string theory or M theory?
No.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more tougher on my end. So from the way I see it,
do you believe in string theory or M theory?
I'm not opposed. I haven't.
I'm not like opposed to them either. It's just we don't have compelling evidence to support them, so I'm not going to hold a belief in them.
So for me personally, the way that I've just always viewed string theory or M theory just makes sense. So I just kind of ran with it. So I mean, I'm open to being told otherwise, but I've yet to be proven otherwise. So with that said, I'm going to approach this more of a philosophical standpoint rather than theological, because I know a lot of people like to approach the theology side of trying to prove God. And even if I did manage to get some sort of thought into your head, it's not just like hey, like, I believe in God. You know what I mean? So like, this is open. This is open-minded here.
Okay.
So let's start off with, I guess, the atom, the quarks, the gluons, the very beginnings of what we see as the observable universe, right?
Sure.
So it's known that these, the beginning of what we see now as the observable universe started with the Big Bang. Do you question that at all?
That's fine.
Okay. So with that said, I believe, which I'm gonna kind of compare this to another story, right? So let's use the 2-dimension, because we're in a 3-dimension, 3D plus time,
Sure.
So if we really want to observe what happened at the very beginning, which is the Big Bang, we have to take
it's the beginning of the universe as we know it, but sure.
Yes. So if we want to go beyond that, we have to take out time. We can't use time as a factor in that equation anymore.
Why?
Because if that's the beginning of what we see, time is relative to us. If we go anything above like the 4th dimension, time would not apply anymore in a way.
I don't see how that. Look, you could have time before the Big Bang. There's no issue with that.
Yeah, but for us, that's where we establish time at.
No, that's just, the Big Bang is just where, the observable universe seems to originate from. It's not where time seems to originate from. It's just like the stuff in the observable universe seems to come from this place. Or this moment of time. It seems
So let's bounce off that idea. What do you believe was the very first instance of what we perceive as time? What do you believe that is?
I'm not sure there was a first instance of time.
Do you believe the universe is timeless?
No, there's definitely time in the universe. Okay, I just don't think that there necessarily must have been a first one.
Where do you put that beginning at?
I'm not necessarily sure that I'm not sure that there is a beginning.
So that's kind of a contradiction, but
it's a contradiction. How is that a contradiction?
Well, if you're saying the universe is timeless, but you don't believe in time.
No, not time. I'm not saying the universe is timeless. I'm saying it could be past eternal.
Okay, so do you believe time is relative to us?
No, I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean. If I'm interpreting you correctly, then no, obviously not.
Okay. Anywho, so let's use a 2-dimension, because we're in 3-dimension, right? 2-dimension objects cannot see anything above their dimension. Is that correct? Yes.
I mean, that's like the traditional story in Flatland, sure.
Yeah. So if we go like string theory, higher dimension can't perceive what's or lower dimension can't perceive what's above it. So with that said, if I were to get a piece of paper, if I were to draw like stick figures, for example, on this piece of paper, they would not be able to perceive a 3-dimension, which is me. They would not be able to perceive me in their 2-dimension world. So it's just like, hey, stuff is just spawning in. That's how it works. So if I draw a stick figure, draw another stick figure, it's like, hey, how did we get here?
If they were clever, they could run some experiments and find out that actually this thing that they call gravity behaves exactly as if they could figure it out. They could figure it out.
Yeah, they could study the space, they could study the ink, they could study all of this, and they could, make their own hypothesis or theories or whatever it may be. So, but the reality of it is something from a higher dimension, whether I'm the creator, I guess you could say, of whatever's on that paper, something from a higher dimension had placed their universe in a way. So why would it stop with us? Why would something, from the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dimension?
Why would I think that it did? I mean, like, look, if you're just saying that, like, look, our universe could just be being affected by something that is, occupies 4 spatial dimensions rather than 3 spatial dimensions, then, like, maybe, like, there's a lot of ideas about, like, large spatial dimensions. They don't seem very plausible, but there are at least ideas about them. I don't see why this would mean that there exists a God, and I don't see why I should believe that this is true.
Okay, so in a way, what if there is, if you want to give it a name, if you want to personify a God or creator into a physical being, then by all means do that, just for the sake of, the debate.
Well, if we're having so if you're suggesting, like in the analogy that you gave with the 2-dimensional people, it is a physical being that is moving, that is placing stuff into the 2-dimensional world. In the same way, if we're talking about string theory, it absolutely is physical, right? In the context of string theory, the extra dimensions are indeed physical extra dimensions. And so if you have large extra dimensions, which again seems not very plausible, but fine, if you indeed have large extra dimensions and you have something in those large extra dimensions affecting our world, that thing would be by definition physical. It exists within space. I don't think
there's ever, I've done quite a bit of research. I don't think there's anything confirming that the higher dimensions are in fact physical dimensions.
They're defined that way. That's what a dimension is. They are extra ways that things can be spatially extended.
Okay, well, for all sake of purposes for the debate,
that's the business with string theory.
So if you're trying to prove, or if I'm trying to convince you that there's somebody above us, I don't want to call him God, just because I feel like it's a very broad term. Just a creator. If I'm trying to convince you that there is a creator, why would he not be able to, like, essentially create what we know as the Big Bang, which expanded and blew up what we see today? Why would he not be able to create that in a way that has our beginning? So he's in a timeless realm, but whenever his quote unquote pen or pencil to that paper is when our Big Bang started.
What is a time? Where's the timeless realm? Where he is? How is he doing anything? How is he doing anything if it's timeless?
Exactly. So I believe,
exactly.
we physically can't see a dimension where time is not a thing. We are bound to time in a way.
How does anything happen if you have no time?
That's the thing. Like, we can't understand. We can't perceive a timeless realm. So if
I'm not asking to perceive it. I'm just asking, how would it work? How would something happen if there's no time in which it happens?
My best guess from what I've sat and pondered on is that everything happens essentially at once, which is very hard.
What do you mean at once? At once is a time.
So let's can I use another analogy?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm said creator. I see rows and rows and rows and columns of people playing chess, right? For example. I can see all of the moves that they're going to make. I can see who wins the game. I can see who they're playing. I can see the game after they're playing. All of this at once, in a way. So, this is a very broad concept. So, to them, they haven't even made the first move yet. But to me, I can see.
Look, so what you're describing is something with knowledge of the past, present, and future, which that's plausible. You could imagine that there's a book that would contain all events that take place, past, present, and future, right? But that's not what I was asking. I was not asking about having knowledge or having awareness. I was asking about doing anything. How could anything happen if there's no time?
You're talking about for the timeless creator or the timeless realm. I don't know, and I don't think anybody will ever know, because like I said, we are bound.
So why would you believe in it? If it seems so nonsensical, why would anybody believe it?
Because so going back to what I initially stated was the initial quarks, gluons, something had to have placed them there. They just don't spontaneously just blow up from nothing. Nothing.
Why couldn't they have always existed again? What was the reasoning behind that?
You can't get something from nothing. You just can't.
Well, if they always existed, then you never got something from nothing.
So you're saying they are timeless?
No, timeless and always existing are not the same thing. Timeless means that no time passes. Eternal or always existing means that time passes. It's just been passing forever.
Literally time is in order to have time, you have to have a beginning.
That's not true. Prove it.
It absolutely is true.
Okay, what's the argument?
If I were to say, okay, let's time you, how fast can you run a lap?
Yeah, if you want to figure out what the duration is between two things, a duration will have a beginning,
not
sure.
Not necessarily. I'm going to time you as you roam a racetrack.
Yeah, so you're trying to figure out how long it takes me to go around the racetrack, right?
Time is literally a factor based on how long something has been, alive or active.
Time is a dimension that is either extended infinitely into the past or is not extended infinitely into the past. What you're confusing it with is measurements of duration.
Okay. So then I'm curious as to what your definition of time is.
I just gave it to you. It's a dimension. It's one of the 4 space-time dimensions, in fact.
Okay, so this is a good talk, but I definitely don't think I'm going to be able to convince you, especially with the theory of time.
Okay, if you want to leave, you can. It just seems like if a minimal pushback from someone who knows physics about what time is.
I'm trying to push the concept of a dimension with no time, and you're just oblivious to, I guess, what time essentially is for us, for as people who created. We are bound to time.
I agree that we're bound to time, but it sounds like you agreed that there's no way to make sense of something happening in a timeless dimension, whatever that means.
I can also see where the disconnect from what my theory is and your theory is, that the time, we both think of time as something very different, which is, respectable. I believe that something like the quarks, the gluons, the atoms, the protons, the neutrons, the whole deal started at one point, whereas you believe.
Right, but why? To be clear, I actually don't hold a belief one way or the other. I don't hold a firm belief about whether time had a beginning or whether it didn't have a beginning. My point is it sounds like you're saying that your argument for this God existing requires that time had a beginning, and I'm just not sure why I should believe that.
No. For God or the Creator, like I said, I believe he has no time. I'm
talking about time having a beginning. It sounds like you want to say that all of this stuff, including time, has a beginning, right?
I would bind time to literally our dimension or anything lower. Yes, I would put time.
Yeah, so why should that have a beginning?
Say that again.
Why should that have a beginning?
I don't know, man. I didn't make our dimension.
No, I'm asking, what is the justification for believing that it doesn't have a beginning, or that it has a beginning, rather?
Everything has to come from something. That's just how.
Including the timeless Creator.
You can't, we can't, as I stated before, you can't perceive anything that's higher than you on the dimension.
Okay, so then it's just not the case that everything has to come from something, right? There's at least one exception. There's at least one. Okay, so why should I believe it applies for our dimension?
Okay, I'd really rather not have to dumb this down. But if we go, let's, for me, example, I came from my mom. My mom came from blah 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 blah.
But where did the electromagnetic field come from?
Exactly. Okay. So yeah, we will get to that point. We will get to the point to where, hey, where's the electromagnetic field come from? Where you can say, you go as far as the gravitational field. You can go all these fields and forces or whatever. But the first, when you look at a physical object and the compound and the makeup of it, literally the smallest thing that we've ever observed is quarks and gluons. That's inside the atom. That's the protons.
Well, and leptons, but.
Well, essentially, once if you go down this chain all the way, where does it stop? Where do you?
It ends at as far as we can tell, it ends at the fundamental quantum fields. These are the quarks, these are the bosons, and these are the leptons.
Okay. Now, is there anything beyond that?
As far as we can tell, no. Now, people have ideas about these things, but we don't have any evidence that supports that.
If we use that as the basic building block, that very, very step, that first step, where did that come from?
Well, given the way that we understand them, they didn't come from anything. They've always existed. They've existed for as long as time has existed, for as long as space has existed.
Okay. All right, so
these are not the kinds of things that can come from something.
I don't think I'm going to be able to convince you of believing in a creator, not necessarily a god, but
Why do you use the moniker Doctor?
Because I cosplay. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fine then.
I mean, I do like philosophy, philosophically, I study things as well. I just don't lean into it. You know what I mean?
Okay. As long as it's just like a cosplay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anything else you want to talk about then?
If I was claiming to be a doctor and I was on here talking about this, I'd 100% have like the FBI banging on my door or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Anything else you want to talk about, or do you want to call it there?
No, I would like. I mean, this is very deep. This is a very deep topic. I mean, there's things that I would love to pick your brain on because I mean, you do have a doctorate, right? Like you are a physicist.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like I said, as far as the debate goes, I think we're done. But outside of this, I would really like to pick your brain on some concepts and maybe sway, either sway you my way or sway me your way, one of the two. But this is a long, drawn out conversation, like I said, and I want to get some other people in here, hear some of their takes.
Okay. Well, Marcus, then I'm gonna let you go. But thanks for being here. I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Blitz.
Take care. Initially I was kind of peeved because I'm like, oh, is he doing Stolen Valor? But no, if he's just cosplaying and that's just the name of like the cosplay character, like that's fine. Like I actually don't care. Oh, Ems, I'm sorry I missed your messages. That's my bad. Oof, I missed Ems' messages. I should have paid attention. All right, let's bring up Ghost Host. Ghost Host, you are on the show, but you gotta unmute yourself first.
Ghost Host. How's it going, man?
It's going all right. Ghost Host, do you believe in God?
You got me right now?
Yeah, you're up, so you can close out of the live stream now if you want. Actually, you should close out of the live stream and just listen through Discord.
Okay, you're not hearing any echo yet?
No, I'm not. Not anymore.
Okay, cool.
So, do you believe in God, Ghost Host?
I do.
Okay. And why should I believe in the God that you believe in?
Yeah, let's try. So we chatted briefly a few days ago. You were with Ian, and where we ended, like I was talking about conceptions of the self, you referred to me as the Krishna guy.
Oh, this wasn't a few days ago. This was a while ago.
No, it was like a few days ago for me. I was chatting with the two of you, conceptions of the self, and we got to that we are an EM pattern that emerges from the brain kind of thing.
If so, I don't remember it.
Okay, no problem. No, not a problem. But we were talking about conceptions of the self. I accept the standard model of the universe, like how we all got here, and where we were at that was like, what am I? And we got to, I'm this emergent EM pattern, and I wanted to call that a pattern of light, right? I don't know if that's technically fair to say that the EM pattern in the brain is actual light waves or not. I don't know if these are virtual or actual
Probably
photons.
not.
Can you clear that up real quick?
They're not waves. They're not light waves.
Okay, so these would be virtual photons that are the EM in the brain.
Sure, but virtual photons aren't real, right? So.
Right. Okay. So let me not be so confusing. It's just electromagnetic energy emergent from the brain is what I'm calling myself, right?
Sure, you can do that.
Well, I mean, like, what would you like fundamentally like?
I don't think it's like. I'm not really sure if I would call the electromagnetic field the yourself. I would think it would be the whole thing.
The atoms and the field together.
Yeah.
Okay, so the self.
Your sense of self emerges from those things together.
This was my struggle with housing identity in the physical self. Was it like we're constantly swapping those atoms? And this was my question.
Yeah,
like we're not born.
So it's the structure, right? It's not the atoms themselves. It's the structure.
Okay, so we would be the physical geometry combined with the electromagnetic field that emerges, and we'd say that is what's housing our self identity. Does that sound right?
Something like that.
Okay, and this is where you specifically went, where you're like, well, it's a specific pattern, and like that pattern can be kind of manipulated by psychotropics or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, so I get like this is where it's just like if like I really believe I have here. Right. Okay. This is what like I believe I truly do have a self, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I look that like my agency isn't an illusion, I'm not an illusion.
Yep.
But when I look for it, and what I have to point to is like, well, you're kind of, this combination of geometries and an emergent pattern.
Yep.
And it just seems like the whole structure of the cosmos is geometries and emergent patterns, and then
Sure.
like if I can house a selfhood in that it see like it doesn't seem to like follow directly, but it seems to like in some sense allow, you know, without being too crazy, that there's higher geometries and higher emergent patterns to emerge higher selves within the cosmos.
Maybe, but how does this get to a creator or a foundation or a grounding of the cosmos?
Okay, I guess okay, but yeah, maybe I guess what I'm conceiving is that there's maybe something that was born within the cosmos, but was capable of superseding it and taking over in some fashion. Like, not that God created this cosmos, maybe was born in it, emerged from it, but was capable of its selfhood being the whole of the block universe.
Okay. I mean, like, look, that's just not what I mean by God. Like that is it's like some sort of panpsychism.
Okay.
Something like that. And like, look, I don't buy into it, but I'm not going to say that it's like impossible or that it's, you know, that it's like, well, I might think it's a little silly, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to like disregard it. I'm not going to put like, I would say that I'm agnostic about that. I'm not like an atheist about that. But
okay.
It does seem like that's consistent with the kind of atheism that I have.
Okay, that's satisfying. My other curiosity is that like I'm trying to like like what are people experiencing that gets them to these positions, right? Now I don't want to just like discount that people are all hallucinating and that their motivations or, you know, understandings of these things are just delusions.
Humans are extraordinarily effective pattern seekers. And so we see things, and sorry, not just pattern seekers, also agency associate, or there's a word for this.
Very, very true.
We basically we like to associate agency with as many things as we possibly can, right?
Absolutely. In Asian language, they say things jumped off the table when they fall. Like I get.
Yeah. So it just seems like people witness unusual things and then they associate agency with it. And when those unusual things are what we would normally ascribe to natural things, then we say that, oh, well, there's an agency and control of the natural, and bada bing, bada boom, you got to believe in God.
Can I run one other thing?
Sure. And then I'm going to bring up another guest, but sure.
That's okay. So in the conception of the creator style God, when like, you know, we have people from thousands of years ago and they're trying to like model the speech of the creator to one of us. And we're asking like, what are you? How do you operate? And this thing is kind of explained like in one of the dialogues between Krishna and Arjuna, he's trying to tell him that he does live in a multi-world existence. Like he says it's something like, you know, I wear the whole of your universe, like one of many jewels on a necklace. And he's trying to explain to him that like you do exist in multiple, and he's telling him there have been multiple versions of you, Arjuna. There are multiple versions of you right now. You know, and it's like, this sounds like cosmic mysticism from 2,000 years ago, but like that our modern science wants to say, plurality of worlds can make sense. The multiverse can, it's like, there's something odd to me that humans could have intuited and understood things that sound so absolutely bizarre. Like,
look, there's only so many like ideas. So there's like a really popular idea that's like popular in like very old belief systems that the world was birthed from a cosmic egg. And like this idea, obviously it comes from like seeing how eggs crack and then life comes from it. And so like you can you know, with the right interpretive lens, you can look at this and be like, oh, that sounds an awful lot like the Big Bang. I don't know, man. It seems like they were knowing about the Big Bang. But like, no, there's just only so many different ideas that you can have, and that some of them are going to map onto modern ideas as well. You know, with the right interpretive lens. I guess I'm just not that surprised that at least one culture was able to kind of guess at or kind of intuit some kind of multiverse idea. Like it's just not that surprising. You know, we have this idea that like,
I'm more
there are
surprised
different
at the other way.
There are different cities, there are different people. So like, why couldn't there be different worlds? Like, that's just not surprising.
Yeah, no, that part of it, the surprising part is that we put up on a chalkboard a conception of like a multi-world. It's just like, that's what's surprising. It's like, holy shit, one of them was like, what? You know, like, it's just kind of bonkers to it. Like, you know, talking about this 200 years ago, they would have shot us both. You know, like, you guys are both fucking psycho, you know?
Well, yeah, maybe, but like, they also would have done the same thing about quantum mechanics. So like, turns out that the universe might be weirder than people 200 years ago thought it was.
And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to like say, that like the agency of a super self in the cosmos, like, sure, we're not able to map that, and it's like it doesn't follow from what we can understand and put on the chalkboard now, but like it doesn't seem so ridiculous to me.
Well, look, so I think that's the kind of thing that I would have to like see more compelling evidence than just like, oh, this seems at least like physically, or this seems at least possible. Like, I could grant you that this is at least possible, that like, oh, well, you know, if we are just our, you know, the structure of our you know, our brain hardware, you know, the structure of the atoms and the cells and the electromagnetic fields and so on, if we're just the structure of that, then it's possible physically that you could have larger scale structures that have a sense of self. And like, yeah, I grant that, absolutely, you could have a larger scale structures that have a sense of self. I would just need to have like some sort of reason to believe that at this point. And I'm not saying it's impossible. Again, like, it's a really interesting idea. It's just not, I just haven't been convinced of it.
Within your own self, do you feel hierarchies of self?
No. Not really.
That there isn't like a better, grander version of us and like a lesser version of us? Like,
I don't even know what that would mean.
Like, to feel the self on a spectrum. I guess, yeah, I'm trying to pull at an intuition of like that there's some type of like test to our existence, and we do experience like operating from a higher self and a lower self, and that does kind of co-create our reality with the universe in an interesting way.
Lost me.
Like,
you lost me. Ghost Toast.
Like our agency and our decisions create our reality, right?
They influence our reality, I would say. But Ghost Toast, there is a guest that I wanted to bring up, and because we're not really talking about the nature of the God that is kind of the context of the conversation, I'm going to let you go. But thanks for being here. You have given me stuff to think about for what it's worth.
Oh, all good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. All right, we're going to bring up Good News next. Good News was on recently, but he was on the conservative show. He was on the MAGA show, and this time I imagine he wants to talk about God, because I think that he said that he was a Catholic, and so, you know, I yearn for the Catholic conversations. Good News, how's it going?
Hey, doing really well. And sorry to say this, I obviously I think I've been waiting for like an hour, and I have a call at 11:30. So
well, we can make it quick. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No worries. I'll come back another time if that.
I do these basically every Friday, so.
Okay.
Right. So, and I'll keep that in mind. So we can pick up here and we can continue again later if you want, or I can just like bring you up early next time. It's up to you.
Yeah, we can just talk for like 10 minutes and then I can come back another time.
Yeah, sure. So you're Catholic, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, just making sure I remember. So, like, were you born into a Catholic family, or did you convert?
I was born into a Catholic family, yeah.
Okay, so like, why should somebody who wasn't born into a Catholic family, why should I believe in the Catholic dogmas?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question. You know, I think I could see that you have a rational mind, right? So in the Bible references people that don't, you know, necessarily receive evidence of God. So there's this argument of invincible ignorance that you could have. So I would say that you acknowledge that God is not logically contradictory in principle, but you think that once you add layers onto that, and correct me if that's not right, but once you add layers onto that, it becomes contradictory, perhaps. My point would be, if you agree that God is not contradictory in principle, I think that to move you to a point where there is some concept of God where you could say, yeah, it's logically possible, I just don't believe it's likely, these sound like fairy tales. That's the first step. Then the second step is to say, let's look at the evidence of like the billions of people that say they've had these miraculous experiences, and you know what the odds are that everyone is either deceived or just lying or something like that. And I think that if you look at all the evidence, the argument weighs in favor of it being true. That's what I would propose.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So my view is that logical possibility is very cheap. Like, it's logically possible that like fairies exist, right? But like that's just not particularly. Right. It just doesn't tell us much, right? It's logically possible that like I'm currently a brain in a vat and you don't exist. But again, that doesn't tell us much. So like I'm willing to grant that lots of things are logically possible. Especially those things simpliciter, right? So the question is, is I just have a low credence in such a thing actually existing, even if I grant that it's logically possible. So why should I think that it is reasonable to think it's real rather than just a logical possibility? And I guess you were getting at that with the questions of miracles and those kinds of things, right?
Yeah, because I don't think there's another way to offer evidence. Clearly, God did not write in the sky so that everyone would just automatically have the evidence slammed in front of their face, other than the idea that something always has to proceed. What, say again?
Is that the call?
No, yeah, that's my reminder. Yeah, I've got
okay.
But it's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, the point would be, just real quick, the point would be that, I think there are a lot of public miracles that were witnessed by a lot of people, and then I think the experiences of individuals means something. If you take them, just a few of them, then it's likely that it's not true. But if you take thousands or millions of people that are saying this crazy thing happened to me, I have no other way to explain it, and then it's like, okay, maybe there is a God, and maybe he's acting in a way that's a little bit silent to people. He's not forcing himself on people. It's good to have low credence. It's good to be a rationalist. But at the same time, I think you need to be fair to the evidence that there could be something greater. And it seems like there's a good amount of evidence that would support that side.
So look, here's my issue with this take. It's that it seems like today, in the year of our Lord 2026, if you will, that you're right. God doesn't write his name on the sky. He doesn't, the miracles that allegedly happened, these things are rare. They tend to be, there's a really, there's the miracle of the sun in Spain or Portugal or something like that. And this has there's a few news articles about it, but it's pretty poorly reported on, at least as far as I can tell. There are some miracles, but they're a little bit they seem a little bit sketchy in the modern day. I'm saying they seem a little bit sketchy. But if you go back 2,000 years, it seems like God, or 2,500 years, 2,000 years or so, it seems like God was all over the place. Bro was a pillar of fire in the sky during the Exodus.
Well,
bro had a man straight up raising people from the dead, wandering around in Judea, right?
Well, that happened over thousands of years, so it's not like it was continuous and only happened for a select group of people. If I lived in Arabia and I didn't see it, I'd be like, you're full of it. I'd be like, the moon never.
But and my point is that God clearly doesn't have any compunctions against enormous miraculous displays available for tons of people, right? There's no issue with breaking free will or that, because obviously if you believe the stories that are in the Bible, obviously that those kinds of things happened. There's the story, I think it's at the end of Matthew, of the righteous dead people rising up from their tombs and wandering around Jerusalem, right? That's the kind of thing that if that happened today, you'd have a lot more Christians. But more so, my problem is okay, so perhaps we grant that these kinds of miracles just happen, they're just rarely, because in the Hebrew Bible they take place over hundreds of years, in the Christian Bible it's over one man's lifetime in one specific area. Maybe it's just these things do happen, but we just it's just these people with an invincible shield of non-belief, they just can't be convinced. But then I'm like, look, what about Paul? Paul was one of these people, and then God sent him a vision because God wanted Paul to, I don't know, for whatever reason, God wanted Paul to be part of the church. So it seems like God doesn't have any compunctions against quote unquote forcing people to believe, right?
Well, so let me respond.
Why doesn't that happen? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good point and a good question. Why does he reveal himself so forcefully to some people and not to others?
Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a plausible explanation for that. Is that for some people, it's almost necessary in order to shape things the way that he wants. So, for instance, if he's going to use Paul, who wrote about 1/3 of the New Testament, and who was a very literate oppressor of the Christians, and then completely did a 180, so self-foundational, that would make, that presents a good reason to take that forceful approach. But if there's billions of other people throughout history, and he wants to take this light-handed approach of not forcing people to believe in that way, that because that's not how love is. Love is a soft, it needs to come from you, so forcing you is not, it's plausible that that's not his approach. And for some people, it might be necessary and helpful for the greater good. But for other people, it's not necessary. That's definitely a plausible argument, right?
So you would say that God did not love Paul?
No, I would. That's not what I'm saying. Absolutely, God loves Paul. God loves everyone.
So then it's possible to love someone and then also forcefully reveal yourself to them. Which, by the way, phrased that way is really, really gross, but, you know.
Yeah. But it's true. Like, for instance, and there's a lot of Muslims that say, oh, there's this one Muslim that I saw about to commit a tea attack, and he said Jesus, like, appeared right in front of me. Like, do I believe that he thought that he experienced that? Yeah. That's a weird thing, okay? And it's happening to numerous people. And yeah, of course God can reveal himself like that. But for other people like you or even me, God is not forcefully revealing himself. To me, he does it in subtle ways. And for you, maybe not, not really as subtle for whatever reason. That's absolutely plausible. And he loves everyone.
So look, would you say that the best thing that can come of a human's life is to have a relationship with God?
Yes.
So it seems to follow that if God is all loving, if God is all good, perfect in all of these ways, it seems like God would want every single one of us to have a relationship with him because, he loves us and that would be the best thing that could happen to us, right? If you love your child, you want the best for them. In that sense, sorry, one sec.
Yeah, I see where you're going real quick, which is that, because I do have to, I'm going to jump in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I see where you're going. I would say this. Your life, your soul exists beyond this life. So in the a lot of people say in the moment of death, Jesus came to them and said, "Hey, this is who I am. Do you want to have a relationship with me, etc." Like, God is not going to damn people to hell without a quote fair chance. So just
what
because
constitutes a fair chance?
Yeah, exactly. How do we define fair? Well, we can only define that in relation to an objective all good being, which is God. So I can't define it for you, but it's something.
I don't know if that's true, but we can talk about that later.
But we know what is fair and what's not fair, kind of intuitively.
We have a sense. Yeah. We have a sense for it. So, like, would you say that like an atheist who just was never convinced, are they damned to hell in your view?
No, that's not the Catholic position. Because
okay, I was just checking. I've talked with Catholics who hold that position, and perhaps they're heretics, but
no, some do, and so there's this issue of invincible ignorance, which is that if you can't believe in God due to no fault of your own, let's say that you weren't, you have some internal disposition that was created by something in childhood, or XYZ, you don't get the evidence, you grew up in a Muslim household, etc., etc. God is not unfair. Like, he's defined as being the most fair. So like, love me some
universe. Well, it's not quite universalism, but it's close.
Well, and not every Catholic holds this position. I'm not speaking for the church, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and that's a fair view. So like that does resolve the question of divine hiddenness if it is the case that
I think so. Yeah.
There will be some revelation that happens that gives you a chance before you're ultimately judged. The only contention that I would have, and we can, again, I know you have to go. The only contention I would have is that it's just not clear to me that anybody would be able to tell us anything about whether or not Jesus appeared to them at the moment of death. Because if it really was the moment of death, they wouldn't be here to tell us.
Exactly. So Jesus, a lot of people have these near-death experiences.
Right.
I've read books which are crazy, man, from doctors that were atheists, and they're like, dude, I've heard the craziest things. So there is that, but however, regardless, I agree that God is not, he's not writing his name on the sky for everyone. And
at least not anymore.
Exactly. So anyway,
which is yeah, go ahead. I know you have to go.
I'll come back later, but
sure.
Yeah, God bless. Thanks for the healthy conversation, and have a good rest of your day.
Take care. Right. So that was far, if I remember correctly, and not to shit on the good faith conversation we just had, that was, if I remember correctly, that was far more normal than the conversation we had yesterday. Which just goes to show that when people are talking about these kinds of things, they can be a lot less spicy than when they're talking about politics, right? So, all right, let's bring up another guest. Let's talk to K Preacher. K Preacher, you were on the show. How's it going? K Preacher?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was totally muted. Excuse me.
I know you were. K Preacher, do you believe in a God?
I do.
Okay, why should I?
I do believe in. Well, let me first by saying it's a pleasure to talk to you, and Awesome name, by the way. Love your name.
Well, thank you. It's my real name.
That's cool. I think you missed your calling maybe as like a football player or some sports. Maybe not.
Maybe a chess
I
player?
might be reading. So do you play chess?
No, I don't.
I mean chess? Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so you believe in God. Why should I believe in God? Preacher?
It's so much. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. So
this feels like a meet cute. Preacher, why should I believe in God?
I'm a little bit just a little bit taken aback. I didn't think I was gonna be on the show. I'm sorry.
It's okay. If you want to come back later, you can. I do the show once a week.
So I do believe there is a God. I believe that God is in 3 persons. Or
I know.
Okay. So we
You're a
have
Christian.
God.
I know.
God. Okay, so God is in 3 persons. It's in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why should I believe in that?
So why should you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because there is such thing as hell. And
Well, why should I believe that?
well, is the core of the earth not hot?
It's pretty hot. Do you think that hell is literally in like the core of the earth?
I believe so.
How? So when you die, do you like what? Is there like a tunnel, like a tube that you ride down to get to hell if you deserve it?
I'm not too sure because I've never gone there. But what the word does speak about, obviously it can't be in space
Yeah.
because that is heaven.
Space is
That
heaven?
is well, it's the second heaven. You have the atmosphere, which is a heaven, and then you have a second heaven, which is your space, and then the third heaven, which is spiritual. It's metaphysical.
Okay. So are you telling me that Mars is in heaven?
Yes, it is in the second heaven. Yes.
Okay. Why should I believe this?
Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, well, I'm sorry. That's not gonna cut it for you. Sorry.
You're right.
Let me try to find the words here.
Sure.
Like I was saying, do you believe there are consequences to actions?
Yeah, if you get caught, or if you have any sort of conscience, rather. Like, if I do something that I don't think I should have done, I'll feel guilty about it. And if I commit a crime and I'm caught, I will, go to jail or pay a fine. So those consequences exist. I don't think that there's consequences for every action. I think that some people get away scot-free.
Well, I mean, they don't. Do they?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, there might be an illusion to they get out of it for free, but everybody dies,
Yeah, I don't think that's a consequence.
I believe death is a punishment.
Oh.
Wouldn't you say so?
Not really. I think it's just the thing that happens when you get old. Or when you get a disease, or when you get hit by a car.
Well, why do we get those things?
Why do we get, well, okay, we can start backwards. Why do we get hit by a car? Because some people are reckless drivers. Why do we get a disease? Because sometimes, depending on the disease, sometimes we're either near somebody else who's sick, or we have some sort of genetic error built into us from birth, say. Or perhaps we accumulate a genetic error through exposure to the sun, or exposure to, cigarette smoke, or exposure to whatever. Or exposure to just cosmic rays. Sometimes that genetic errors can just creep in. And if we're talking about old age, well, old age happens, death from old age happens for basically the same reason as the second one does. It's just that your genes become, in some sense, less stable as you get older because they've replicated a million times or whatever. So, doesn't seem like that we need some sort of cosmic explainer to explain why we die.
Well, do you have you ever looked up oxidation in regards to biology, human biology and oxidation, of how the oxygen in our blood is effectively rusting our bodies, and that rust causes cancers?
I'd believe it. Well, maybe not via that explanation, but yeah, I know that oxidative stress is a thing. I don't think that that's like the sole cause of cancer. For example, there are, like we know for a fact that like UV radiation, this is like a special kind of light. UV radiation can trigger mutations that can cause cancer. That's not related to our blood, right? That's related to the UV radiation. Similarly, we know that some kinds of lung cancers can be caused by cigarette smoke, in particular the kinds of gross compounds that are present in cigarette smoke hanging out in your lungs can damage your lung, can damage the tissue in your lungs, which causes mutations, and then those mutations can become cancer. So like, it doesn't seem like it's just about blood oxygen.
Well, I mean, like, I can concede that, yes, it's not all about it, but it's some of it,
Maybe.
What did you say? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into this thing in particular. I'm sure that there's some stuff going on here. Like, I know that for you, there's like this whole language about like free radicals and stuff. I'm not a cancer researcher though, so I don't know a lot about it.
So would you say that, sickness is bad?
I would say it's unfortunate. It's often tragic. I wouldn't ascribe some sort of moral norms to it. I wouldn't say it's good or evil or whatever. I'd just say it's tragic.
I mean, you were in the hospital. That wasn't a good thing, was it?
Yeah, I would say it was an unfortunate event. Could have been tragic, but it wasn't.
I'm very thankful it wasn't, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Are you doing better?
I'm doing okay.
That's great. That's great. I you know what, you're talking about, you brought up reckless driving and everything. I was in the hospital because of a reckless driver. So
are you doing okay?
I'm doing, thankfully. It was a fatal car accident. The other person did tragically pass away, but no, it could have been a lot worse. I by the grace of God, I came out. I know you probably don't believe that, but he was, when he hit me head on going 85 miles an hour on impact, and I didn't break a bone in my body.
Well, I'm glad that you were okay.
So
so why should I think that there's a God?
Well, because there is bad.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
there is evil.
I agree.
You believe there's evil?
Yeah, like Hitler, Pol Pot, these were evil people.
Agreed, totally. Jim Jones.
Sure.
Very evil man. Don't drink the Kool-Aid,
Agreed.
That kind of
Definitely thing. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Definitely don't get involved in a religious cult.
I agree. I agree. The thing is that there's evil, there must be good.
Well, yeah, there are good people too.
And I believe that at the core of every person, we are evil. We're evil people.
I disagree. I think that most people are generally good.
Well, I don't believe that. I believe we're all generally evil because of the fall of man.
I mean, that's a shame, right? Like that's it's really kind of a bummer way to look at humans. Like, I think that most humans have the potential to be quite good. I think that most humans want to do good. They don't want to hurt people. It's definitely not everybody. There are people who are just like, you know, I don't think they're born this way, but I think that there are people that become evil that can really let that become a part of who they are. But I don't think that like people are like innately evil. I think that's crazy.
Well, I mean, we have to be taught what is good. You know, we simply just
not really
animalistically.
We share by our very nature. We feel empathy by our very nature.
But do we do that because of our own want to survive, or is
it's our nature. It's built into our psychology.
No. I mean, like that's true, but at the same time, are we doing that because we want to survive for our own selves? And if we don't share that empathy, then we won't receive it back.
Literally, no. It's not because of that. It's because we're social species, so we don't have the drive just for ourselves to survive. We have the drive for our community to survive.
So what do you say to those who are in gangs that do evil acts?
In games?
They say that do what?
Wait, did you say in games?
Gangs, G-A-N-G-S.
Oh, in gangs?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're looking out for their community, are they not? In fact, this is why like gangs kind of started to form in the first place in the United States. It was because the police weren't doing anything to protect the community and to keep the community, you know, orderly and safe. That was that is the origin of gangs. And the whole business about human society is that we are instinctually driven to protect our community, and the gang is the community. And if there's rival communities that are putting your community at risk, then you're going to do what it takes to protect it. That is precisely human behavior. Now, we call it evil. Well, actually, I don't even know if I would call it evil. Like, gang dynamics is like very human behavior. I don't know if it's evil. I mean, surely some actions I would say are bad, and potentially evil depending on how like malicious they are. But to say that like organizing and running a community in a certain way is like evil, it's like innately evil, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, even if they say community, is helping your community deliberately poisoning your community with toxins?
I would probably not. I can't think of any example of gangs doing this though.
They do that all the time by drug use.
Do you think that the people who are using drugs thinks that it's evil? Because to be clear, like smoking marijuana is not poisoning the community, right?
Well, at the same time, if they're using drugs, they're probably impaired. And they're probably not thinking rationally.
Yeah, that's a thing that humans have been doing for forever.
So if they've been doing these things, you know, forever, don't you think that we are inherently corrupt?
I don't think it's evil to smoke weed. In fact, I don't even think it's evil to do heroin. I think that's probably not healthy for you. And I think that you probably shouldn't. But like, I don't think it's evil.
So you don't see a problem with it?
I don't think it's healthy. So like, I would rather people not do heroin. I'd rather people not like do cocaine. I'd rather people not do meth, because it ends up in like, I know based off of the information that I have that this leads to worse outcomes. But I wouldn't say it's evil.
That's wild.
You think that like smoking weed is evil?
I think it causes harm. I think the misuse of things, natural plants and stuff like that.
It's a natural plant. How do you misuse it?
Well, I mean, you don't go and you.
What's the
don't
correct use
down
of the
a thing
marijuana
of poison
plant?
ivy, you know.
What's the correct use of the marijuana plant?
It's well, the correct use. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm not a horticulturist or anything like that, but I think we should leave. There are plants that we should just leave alone. You know, that
Should
their
we?
natural use
Is
isn't for
alcohol
necessarily us,
evil?
but for animals.
Is alcohol evil? Yeah.
So alcohol's the consumption of it is bad.
Okay, now I just gotta double check with you. God is all good, right?
Yes.
Now Jesus is God, right?
Correct.
Why did Jesus drink alcohol?
He didn't drink alcohol.
Yeah, he did. Wine is alcohol.
No, wine itself is not alcohol until it's fermented.
Yeah, he drank fermented wine.
He did not.
Hold on, we can just pull something up. I saw it in Luke. Let me see. Let me make sure that this is the right verse. I just want to pull it up on Bible Gateway because I like it. For John the Baptist, this is Luke 7:33 to 7:35. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and you say, he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and you say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by all her children. So if he wasn't drinking alcohol, why would he be a drunkard?
Well, first off, let me see. What did you say it was? I need to look at the
Luke
context.
7:33 to 7:35, or 7:33 and 7:34.
Give me one moment. Okay, so these were Pharisees and Sadducees. They were actively looking to try to find anything they could to get rid of Jesus. So
yeah, so he came eating and drinking. So Jesus came eating and drinking, and the Pharisees say he is a glutton and a drunkard. So why would they call him a drunkard if he wasn't drunk? Or if he wasn't drinking at all, if he wasn't drinking alcohol?
So he was drinking wine, but wine itself is...
You wouldn't be a drunkard if you're drinking non-alcoholic wine. Also, in fact, all wine is fermented. That's how you make wine.
Well, not back in the day.
Do you have any
Not
evidence
back
for
in these
that?
times. Yes, new wine and old wine.
What's the evidence for
The
that?
older wine
What's the
is
evidence
the
for
more
wine
fermented it
for
becomes.
ancient wine not containing alcohol?
So new wine is wine that is freshly pressed. As wine
That's called
sits
grape
out,
juice.
it becomes fermented. But it was called wine back in the day.
Do you have any evidence for that?
That is the historical context.
Okay, where can I read this in the historical literature?
Let me look something up. Between So, excuse me.
Why would the Bible warn against being a drunkard if the wine that they were drinking was non-alcoholic?
Well, like I said, there's a difference between new and old wine. The
How do
older
you
the
keep wine
gets,
from turning into... How do you keep grape juice from turning into wine if you don't have a refrigerator and if you only harvest once a year?
you drink it as soon as it's made. You drink
So
it.
it's right. So the grape juice. So grapes that were only harvested once a year, right? Because they didn't have like the kind of agriculture that we have. So they harvested grapes once a year. And those grapes either rot or you turn them into a juice of some kind. You squeeze them, and so then you put that juice somewhere, and it will automatically turn into alcoholic wine, unless you drink it right away. But Jesus was drinking wine the whole year, all year, right? It wasn't like he stopped drinking wine or he only drank wine like right after harvest.
Where does that say that?
We have Jesus drinking wine all the time. Like when he turned water into wine, this was like a normal thing. Everybody was drinking wine. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't constantly drinking wine.
What was he drinking then?
Water.
Water is not a particularly safe thing to drink. People drink wine all the time for a reason. In fact, many of the Jewish traditions that he took part in, especially the Passover tradition, those required drinking wine. Alcoholic wine, in fact.
But you just don't go drinking every... That's not like the preferred beverage of choice. I mean...
Sure was. But also, regardless, we can just go look up when is the grape. We can just go look this up. Okay, so the grape harvest in the Middle East takes place between the late July through October. So like late summer, early fall. Now, what that means is that there would be no grape juice available, no new wine available during the Passover feast, right? It just wouldn't exist. It would have all turned into wine. So when Jesus was doing his Last Supper, the wine that he was drinking, it wouldn't have been non-alcoholic.
Can you quote me those dates again?
Yeah, late July through October, apparently. Depending on what country you're in and so on and so forth.
I mean, who's to say that they didn't import?
It's late July through October everywhere in the Mediterranean, but we can look. We can look where is the grape or when is the grape harvest in Mediterranean? I can spell region. Late August through October in the Mediterranean region. So that's where they would have imported from, because that was what they had access to.
I mean, also, you could just pick grapes and just store them. You don't have to smash them.
No, they will rot.
Right away.
They will rot. They didn't have refrigerators.
Well, they probably had some other form of preservation.
There is no way to store a grape for like more than a month without it rotting. We can't even do that today. If you buy grapes from the grocery store, it doesn't even matter. You put them in the fridge, whatever you do, they're going to eventually go bad after a few weeks.
I mean, it says wine, but I mean, they might have drank something different besides grape wine.
What other wine is there? Wine is made from grapes. I'm sorry, that's what the word refers to. It refers to a fermented grape drink.
I mean, Jesus never got drunk on wine. I mean, the Pharisees were actively trying to kill somebody, and it was all a witch hunt.
It's not about getting drunk, it's about drinking, period. And you can say that, like, oh, it was a witch hunt. The point is he still drank alcohol. And if drinking alcohol is evil, but God is all good, and Jesus is God, then it seems like the all good God did evil.
And besides, sometimes drinking alcohol, you did it for medicinal purposes.
Sometimes smoking marijuana, you do it for medicinal purposes. Also, Jesus couldn't get sick, so he wasn't doing it for medicinal purposes.
I mean, who's also to say that Jesus didn't take the wine that was fermented, turn it back into new wine like he did in the book of Matthew?
There's no evidence that he turned it into new wine. Also, that's like, this is like an Olympic style reach. Like, who's to say that he didn't like cast a little magic spell and turn it into water right before it passed down his throat? Like, come on, it doesn't say that.
Here.
It doesn't even allude to that. Doesn't even suggest it.
That he turned alcoholic wine into fresh wine?
Yeah. Also, there's no such thing as fresh wine. It's grape juice and wine. Wine is by definition fermented.
Okay, we'll call it grape juice. Okay, if that helps you.
Also, why did he tell in Matthew 26? Why did he tell his apostles to drink wine?
One second, one thing at a time, please.
I mean, it just seems that like Jesus was actually fine with wine. He was fine with drinking.
Here, let me. First, I'm sorry. It's John 2, 1 through 11. Excuse me. So,
like, what are we doing?
Okay. So, John 2, 1 through 11, and the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there, which was Mary. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage, and they wanted wine. The mother of Jesus saith unto him, There is no wine. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not come yet. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water, and he filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw now out and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bear it. And when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and which men have all drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. So
Yeah, okay, this is actually a great verse. Thank you for reading this. So, is the good wine the alcoholic wine or the non-alcoholic wine?
Non-alcoholic.
That's funny because in Luke it says the opposite. It says Luke 5:37 through 39, and I'll just show you. One sec. Well, you won't be able to see, but everybody else will be able to, and I can read it.
5 what?
5:37 through 39. So, and no one pours new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the new wine will burst the skins. The wine will run out and the wineskins will be ruined. No, new wine must be poured into new wineskins. And no one, after drinking old wine, wants the new, for they say the old is better. So at least according to Luke, everybody thinks that old wine, meaning alcoholic wine, is better. So why would the old wine, or why would the choice wine, the good wine, why would that be the new wine when everybody says that old wine is better?
Perhaps they were drunk.
I'm sorry, so everybody says this? Why is it that no one after drinking old wine wants the new wine? if it's worse. And by the way, this is just like obviously true. Everybody knows that aged wine is better, right? Like this is why like old wines are so expensive.
Yeah, but also you got to remember that at that point you're drinking old wine, which is more fermented, and thus whenever
and that's what people want.
And thus is alcohol, and thus you get drunk from drinking alcoholic beverages.
And
so of course they would say that it is
that's the choice
better.
wine. That's the good wine. Right? So when Jesus turned the water into wine, in fact, he made the choice wine. Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheapest wine after the guests have had too much to drink.
He made
but you have saved the best till now. The best referring to the choice wine, right? Why would people bring out cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink? What does it mean to have had too much to drink if it's non-alcoholic? How can you drink too much of a non-alcoholic thing?
Well, the wine would have been fermenting into the alcoholic wine.
So look, it says everyone brings out the choice wine first and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. So what this person is saying, the master of the banquet is saying, is that usually what happens is that people bring out the good wine first, and then after everybody has had too much to drink, then they bring out the bad wine. So what does that imply about what the good wine is and what the bad wine is?
You can also look at it the other way.
What does it mean to drink too much of a non-alcoholic beverage?
What? Say that again, I'm sorry.
What does it mean to drink too much of a non-alcoholic beverage? How do you drink too much of that? Are you just like extremely hydrated? Do you just have to pee really bad? Like,
I mean, they did live in the desert, so.
But what does it mean to drink too much? Like, you and I both know what it means when it says after the guests have had too much to drink. What it means is that they're drunk. It's like some crazy mental gymnastics to deny that. Which means that they got drunk on the choice wine, which is the wine that Jesus made.
But see, here goes back into the thing of what people say is good. You say that the good wine would be the stuff that gets you inebriated.
No, the Bible says that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. When you've had too much to drink, that means that you're drunk. That's what the phrase means.
So they had the bad wine.
No, they had the good wine first.
They had the good wine first, and then when they had the bad
too
wine,
much to drink.
then they got drunk. They got drunk off of the bad wine, and then so when Jesus brings in
you're confused.
more good wine, they're like,
this is crazy mental gymnastics. Look, he brings out the good wine, and then he brings out the bad wine after the guests are drunk. How do they get drunk if the good wine is non-alcoholic?
Because the good wine is not fermented. The bad wine.
If the good wine is non-alcoholic, then how are they getting drunk before they bring out the bad wine, the cheap wine?
Like I'm saying, the non-alcoholic wine had been sitting, thus been fermented.
Okay, so it was alcoholic.
That bad wine.
So it was alcoholic. So all of the wine was alcoholic.
So no, the wine they had was just grape juice, as you would say, and then later on it fermented, and then they were start drinking the alcoholic wine.
So this is talking about a single day, by the way. This is like talking about like a single banquet. It's not talking about like over the course of a few weeks. So we have the good wine is brought out, and then everybody gets drunk, and then the cheap wine is brought out. What does that indicate? That indicates that the good wine had alcohol in it.
I mean, you can say what you want, but I
That's
mean
what the
that doesn't
Bible
mean
says. I'm not saying it.
no. But you're putting inference into that. Jesus would
Okay,
be
what does it mean to
condoning
say that
drunkenness,
somebody has
which
had
is
too much to drink? When somebody has had too much to drink, what does that mean?
they are drunk.
Okay. And so verse 10, this is John 20 or John 2 verse 10 says, and this is the master of the banquet talking, everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much drink. And you agreed that too much drink means they're drunk. So everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then they bring out the cheaper wine after everybody is drunk.
What was this? Luke 7.
This is John 2 verse 10.
Oh, are you reading John 2 verse 10?
Yes.
And saith unto him, every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when the men have well drunk, then which is worse? Thou hast kept the good wine in denial.
So he said. So in fact, the translation that you're reading, which I imagine is KJV, the translation that you're reading actually lays out the order specifically: first good wine, then drunk, then cheap wine.
So when they drank, I mean, it's just another past tense of they were drinking the good wine, then they brought out that which is worse, and then they brought out.
No. Why are you like? This is so wildly dishonest. I don't even think you're doing it on purpose. I think it's just happening because you have to defend something crazy that you said. I'll pull up the KJV for you. You can just look at this explicitly. And saith unto him, every man at the beginning, so the first step, at the beginning, doth set forth good wine. That's step one, set forth good wine. And when men have well drunk, meaning that now the men are drunk, that's step two.
That doesn't necessarily mean that.
Then that which is worse, they bring out the worse wine. That's step 3. So step 1, good wine. Step 2, be drunk. Step 3, bad wine.
No, step 1, good wine, then step 2, bad wine, then step 3, good wine.
What? No, good wine comes out, or bad wine comes after good wine, according to this guy.
No, the good wine came last because Jesus made it.
No, that's what Jesus did. But this guy is talking about what usually happens. Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. So this so what the feast master is saying is like, look, usually what happens is that like when somebody's throwing a party, at first they bring out the good wine, and then when everybody's drunk, implying, oh, then they won't notice it, then they'll bring out the kind of crappy wine because nobody will be able to tell the difference at that point. And then he says, but you're special. You actually kept the good wine until now. So he's comparing and contrasting what Jesus did. But the point is that according to what the ruler of the feast says, the good wine is the wine that has alcohol in it. It's the wine that gets people drunk. And we can go look at the NRSV or NRSVU, which is like a better translation than the King James. And said to him, everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now. Like here in the NRSVU, it's just like a very, very explicit. Like he's saying, look, that's what most people do. Most people, they serve the good stuff, and then they serve the bad stuff after everybody's drunk. But you're keeping the bad stuff till afterwards, which is, cool. Thank you. Or it's different, at least. And to be clear, we have a reference for people thinking that the good wine is the alcoholic wine, or is the old wine. This is from Luke 5:38 or 5:39. And no one, after drinking old wine, wants the new, for they say the old wine is better. So this is corroborating my idea that the good wine is the wine that's old.
You got to think about it. It's Jewish tradition. It's
Yeah, it's Jewish tradition to get wasted, by the way.
No.
Yeah, you drink wine at every single holiday, my guy, and it's alcoholic wine. Every single one, except Yom Kippur.
Not toward the ancient Jewish tradition.
Yeah.
Because drunkenness was against the original Torah. So
where? Well, so being a drunk, yes, but drinking alcoholic wine, no.
But you're saying that Jesus was a drunk.
No, I'm not saying Jesus was a drunk. When did I say that?
When you were talking about how they were saying that Jesus was a wine bibber and all that, and
yeah, what I'm saying is that he was drinking wine, alcoholic wine, so people accused him of being a drunk. But nobody would accuse him of being a drunk if he wasn't drinking alcoholic wine. Also, we have corroboration from Luke that the good wine is the old wine, and then in John 2 we have more corroboration that the good wine is the alcoholic wine, and that Jesus made the good wine, which is he turned water into alcoholic wine. So like this is like, you could just say that drinking isn't evil. That would be the normal thing to do. That's like a very defensible position, rather than saying that drinking is indeed evil, because it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that drinking is evil. It says that being drunk is a sin. Being a drunkard is a sin, right? But like, it's just not the case that that drinking itself is evil.
Well, I might have flipped that one up. Okay.
It only took 30 minutes to get there. All right, look, we are well past the time when I would normally end the live stream, so I'm going to let you go, K-Preacher, but thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Reconsider your view on alcohol and on drugs. That'd be my recommendation. Have a good one. All right, we have some super chats to read, and then we can, then we'll have to end the live, I guess. So we have $6.66 from Nighttime, which is very appreciated. Thank you so much. From Chase Martin Physics, oh, we're a little bit backed up. You can definitely have time in higher dimensions than 3 + 1. String theory is 9 + 1D, and M theory is 10 + 1D. The +1 is referring to time in all of those. Yeah, indeed you can. Turns out, resident string theorist, by the way, is Chase Martin. From Eat Some Shorts with the $5, imagine coming and telling Rear Fleet Captain Vice Admiral Dr. Blitz that you're in the same sciences space, and then falling this hard on your face. Yeah, that's what happened. From Game Master Flash with the $5, Stolen Valor, Doc refuses to accept that his worldview might not be justified. Yeah. From Tim Davidson with the $5, I believe this call has run out of infinite sequential nows by now, or then whatever. Yeah, look, sometimes those conversations can drag on, and I get that. From Jack Fetter with the $5, Dr. Blitz, Dr. Jack here. I use doctor simply because I'm an amateur gynecologist. From Jack again with the $5, after that last caller, I'm starting to get a slight tingle. This whole heaven-hell thing might just be made up. Express lava tube to hell, I suppose. Indeed, lava does send you to hell and heaven. From Empiricist with the $2, wine is calorie preservation, not just safety. That's a good point. From Ashley Ray with the $2, what's your knowledge on Gnosticism? Gnosis is key. I don't know a lot about it. From Tim Davidson with the $5, the average communion wafer, 0.25 grams. The average human body is 70,000 grams, so about 280,000 communions to consume an average-sized Christ. Yeah, don't eat Jesus, y'all. From Eustace Page with the $2, Jesus keeps turning my water into cut water. From Tim Davidson again, you bring out the Hennessy and charge them 20, then when they're lit, you bring out the Maker's Mark and still charge them 20. That's what it's saying. That's exactly what it's saying. I don't know how that was so hard. From Jack Fetter with the $5, this is why I can never have a conversation about religion. The great wine conundrum, good versus bad, was Jesus the secret lush? You guys are too funny. From Galur, with the 400 Indian rupees, was Jesus the one to discover fortification of water to wine/port? Pun intended. I think I missed the pun. Or missed the pun. From Jack with the $2, you served me grape juice at your party and I'm out. Yeah, fair enough. And last but not least, from Zeta Alpha Kappa, Jesus didn't drink wine. Brother, Jesus is wine. That's a good point. Jesus' blood is wine. That's why they serve wine as a communion thing. Now, I just want to double check, make sure I haven't missed any cash apps. It looks like I haven't. Also, I can't talk anymore. So everybody, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We may or may not be live tomorrow for some extra fun time, but if we're not, then I'll see you guys on Sunday. Until then, make sure to become... Oh, we have a last-minute super chat coming in from Bailey with the $5. This is Bailey in the Meadow. Can you tell everyone I'm real? Bailey in the Meadow is real, apparently. But anyway, if you haven't already, make sure to follow along. Follow on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, wherever you might be watching. If you want to figure out where I'm streaming, if you want to see more stuff that I'm doing, like the research that I do, the outreach that I do, videos, if you want to find more places that you can support me, you can go to my website. It's blitz.phd. There's no .com, it's just blitz.phd. But that's all I have to say. That's the whole spiel. I'll see you guys on Monday, if not Saturday. Take care. Sorry, Sunday, if not Saturday.